TSM should not get Olaf in this game again unless they leave something really juicy up that you'd want to first pick over it. But I think with Skarner and Olaf being kind of in that same tier and Olaf being a little bit stronger in that matchup, that Olaf would still have priority.
We'll see how they decide to prioritize that champion and however else they want to navigate this draft as we get into Champion Select for the second time today. Scion and Gangplank banned out by Clutch Gaming. They don't want to have to deal with Haunter on the Scion again, and Gangplank pretty strong still in his own right, as Azir and Rakan are banned out by TSM. Final ban for the first phase from Clutch is going to be the Tahm Kench, really respecting what Mithy can do on that. I
really like this, though, from both Clutch and TSM, because Swain is still on the table. I'm talking about something juicy you can leave up to potentially get the Skarner or the Olaf yourself. That would be the Swain. Otherwise, you ban the Swain here, and then you just trade 1-for-1 in those junglers, but they're not going to do that.
Yeah, if you do give over Olaf, but you pick a bunch of winning lanes, a bunch of pushing lanes, the same sort of situation is not so scary. Swain picked up here as expected. So powerful right now on the patch, and a flex pick to boot, so that's why a lot of people liking him early on in the draft phase.
I mean, the reason the Olaf felt so damn strong last game was just because of the fact that none of his lanes could ever help him. They were all permanently shoved, and now we'll have to see if that happens here again. Mike Young will be taking on that Olaf for the second game in a row, and he'll have Mithy backing him up on the Braum.
Yeah, Mithy, the ban away the Tahm Kench. He's going to play Braum. It's Tom Braum mom for him in the bottom lane. Just going to babysit Sven all the time. But now they have the Olaf. The Skarner will be the answer here for Lyra, but the Olaf still slightly favored in this matchup.
Right, Skarner, very good at dueling a lot of different champions. Unfortunately for him, Olaf is one of the ones that still outduels him even inside the Spire, but it will do better than a Sejuani would.
Yeah, not many people are good at dueling Olaf.
Yeah, it's not really. Those words just don't happen in a sentence.
Oh, but they're going to try their luck here, and Hakuho with the Morgana banned away, goes for the Thresh, the old school pick for this guy. When he first came onto the scene, he was one in that big pool of Thresh players, the Thresh gods who came in, and I want to see how he performs on this champion here. They say he doesn't miss skill shots on Morgana. It's kind of the same story with this Thresh.
I also really do like Thresh against things like this, right? Where he's going to have the Lantern to have some movement displacement for his team. When Olaf is trying to run you down and throws an axe through his target, he loses a lot of DPS if he doesn't pick that axe up. So if you move the person, he has to then decide, am I still going to chase this person, or am I going to pick up my axe? And it makes the Olaf player play a lot better if there's a Thresh in the game, because Thresh can also force him to use his ultimate to get through things like the box or flays or hooks and stuff like that. So definitely like putting a little bit more pressure on the player to perform.
You gotta love having that extra agency to control what your opponent's gonna be doing, especially when he went off like Mike Young did in game number 1. Clutch Gaming needs to have somebody answer it, and if Hakuho's Thresh is that answer, then so be it, they say, as they will also be up against Bjergsen's Rise this time around, as the second phase of the bans has already begun. You can see Cassiopeia and Caitlyn targeted by TSM. They don't want to allow Apollo onto that signature AD carry again. Clutch Gaming banning away the Ezreal, saying same thing for Sven. We're not letting him on that most picked champion.
Yeah, bottom lane is going to be important, because as much as Thresh has these things that can force Olaf to play well, if the Olaf just focuses the Thresh and runs him down, Thresh cannot get away either. So it can't feel bad for the Thresh player, especially if there's a Braum in the lane and they're actually trying to kill him. Definitely some counterplay.
And right here, I think you would go for your AD carry, but you don't know where that Swain's going to go, so you want to save that top lane pick for last. And regardless, I don't think there's many AD carries left that have move blocks or ways to get away except Tristana. And so you're kind of locked into Varus, Jhin, Xayah as well. So no matter what, the Skarner will have an okay time reaching whatever AD carry this is. More on the rest of the team to peel for him as they go for the Varus.
You will see that again this game, just like we got to see in game number 1. TSM repeating a couple of picks. I mean, if it works out the first time, sometimes you don't need to switch it up. Can still fit very well into the next composition. Clutch has 2 picks left to go. They make them both here. What are they going to start it off with? We did see Kog'Maw banned out last time. No ban this time means Clutch pick it up.
That's a Wiz Fusion special from way back in the day. The Kog'Maw, he definitely feels comfy on it. And the Gnar again.
All right, taking the Gnar means that the Swain will go into mid lane against Bjergsen's Rise. And TSM now get the final pick of the draft to take what they want into that Gnar from solo. And it looks like Haunter's thinking about the Ornn.
I was kind of expecting the tank pick here for Clutch, because when you have the Kog'Maw, having a very solid front line is fantastic. Something like a Cho'Gath would be really good, especially against Ryze too.
Yeah, also especially considering like the 0 jungle proximity that we kind of associate with solo on the top side. You know, it's probably not going to be a situation where they're trying to camp for solo and get him ahead on the Gnar to try and, you know, get some sort of pressure that way. So we'll have to see, you know, how he does, because Hansar on the tank, able to join the rest of the team. You know, he is Ornn. Ornn's ultimate for team fighting is just such an insane difference, especially against these low mobility carries here. Swain and Kog'Maw. Skarner hates being kited as well. It just seems like there's going to be a lot of large AoE slow paths that are going to make this difficult for those guys to play.
Yeah, and there was another level here as well, because they picked the Braum very early, so you don't want to take Ornn away for yourself, because the Braum will counter it. So they kind of got that at the very end of the draft because the way they had set it up.
And when you have Braum and Ornn, you can pretty much fill up the entire screen with giant, 60 abilities.
Stuff everywhere. There's so many ground effects that there's no way you can properly navigate those. And like you said, especially as something like a Skarner or a Swain that wants to get... Well, Kog'Maw, you can at least have range. You can at least use your W and fire from a long way away. But these champions that want to get close and can only do so by walking through all this treacherous pathing, it's going to make for a very difficult time. But Clutch Gaming think that that's the recipe for success this time around. We'll have to see how well it works out for them, or if TSM is going to take us to match point after only 2 games.
All right, Clutch Gaming. This is the time to try and make their switch and flip this series around. Will they have what it takes, or will we get another 3-0 like we had yesterday?
Remember, Clutch was the team that managed to take down TSM in both regular play games of the split. However, that was before TSM flipped their own switch and really started coming together as a team and making those strides in the second half of the split.
Exactly. There's an asterisk next to those 2 wins for them, because they had beaten them right before the end of this first half, and then they immediately played them in week 6 right after they had crossed the halfway point. So it was pretty much back-to-back weekends where they played, and Clutch came out on top. But since then, TSM, like we said, they went 9-1. They're now 10-1, and they're on a 7-game winning streak.
And a large part of the discussion around the team as a whole around Mike Young. You know, you talked about one of the youngest players here in playoffs, and what we saw early on in the season from TSM looked like not on the same page at all, you know, having a lot of trouble there working in with the rest of the team. But game number 1 was an example of how to integrate Olaf extremely well and utilize the early pressure as a team to get a huge advantage. And they're trying to do it again.
Exactly. As you're talking about it, Kobe, speak of the devil, that forward percentage is insane. He's basically living in Lyra's jungle and completely making him obsolete. But Lyra's going to go to the other side. He's got to take the Spire so they know where he is.
That's the thing about the Skarner Spires. When you're counter-jungling or when you're getting counter-jungled, having those captured lets them know what's going on. As soon as they see that denied, Clutch Gaming knows Mike's in their jungle.
Yeah, it's not too big of a surprise here, as both of them, you know, picking it up, and having that knowledge isn't going to dissuade anyone from going over there. Now it's actually much more even grounds here for Lyra. You know, he's fine clearing out Raptors as well. Second, both of these champions, one of the big pulls for them in pro play is actually how effectively both of them, you know, can clear out the Raptors. So should be more of a trade this time around, and both teams aware of splitting the map. TSM have jungle priority on the bottom half of the map for the beginning of this game. Clutch Gaming on the top side.
And that kind of adaptation is what we talk about with wanting to see the changes the teams make between regular season play and between playoffs, is saying, hey, this went wrong in game number 1. It's got to be fixed now.
Exactly. They definitely fixed it there. Getting more than 1 quadrant of your jungle is exactly what Lyra, that's the goal coming in here to game 2.
Mission accomplished.
For the early game. But look at Mike Young. He's going for an early game gank bottom, but actually no, he's going for Krugs. He's trying to trade that, but they spotted him.
Clutch is aware of what might be going on here. Mike Young just hanging out in the tri-brush, not starting up the camp yet, realizes that could be a little bit too far forward. Bjerg's going to make the rotation down to see if maybe they can force something here.
And that's going to be a little bit expected. I think they saw Bjergsen roaming, and there's the hook.
Hakuo starts things off here, getting a flay onto 4 people, but he's still going to be surrounded, nearly taken down, keeps himself alive, but first blood over to Bjergsen.
TSM with such an early roam from Bjergsen down bottom side, and they're not done. Apollo's still here.
Oh, he didn't mark him. There's the heal.
They want to go for more. They don't get the concussive blows just yet. Mike Young flashing away to drop the turret aggro. Apollo goes down. Credit to Mike Young.
That is huge for the early game here for TSM, but Lyra on the other side of the wall, I don't know if he's able to do anything here.
Thinking about maybe going over, looking for Mike. Mike down to 100 HP. Lyra at least comes around and takes the Krug, but when TSM got 2 kills, that is hardly.
And even though TSM, pulled that off with 2 kills and without losing anyone, you could see how dicey it was and why Clutch Gaming, even though they saw them coming, were like, maybe we can outplay.
Watch this. Look at Febiven's summoner spells. He hit cleanse because he thought he had TP to help them. He thought he had TP in mid lane, and he hit cleanse with nobody around. He's running summoner spellbook on Swain, so he started cleanse to swap it later instead of phase rush where you start TP. So it looks like Febiven, like Bjergsen has said early, he might be in his head.
If that is the case, and if that's very good detective work there, Zyrene. If he thought that he had teleport and he's telling his bottom lane, hey, don't worry, we'll outplay this dive. I got your back, bro.
and then you just see that little white ring pop up around your character, and you're like, wait, why is my guy not teleporting?
Oh, no.
That feels really, really bad, but it feels even worse for the guys who got killed from the play.
But we talk all the time about how you have to show up when it matters, and that's showing a kind of lack of presence of mind of what the game state is or what he's even done to prepare for the game. And you have to be able to perform in those situations. It's not even a high-pressure situation. It's early game, and the champ select forward, but it just looks like their TSM may have pushed them a little far, and now he's got the TP. He'll have the one that it looked like he was going for originally. And Febiven, so far, has not been performing against Bjergsen.
Lyra invading towards Mike Young now. Lyra's got the ability to take him down. Mike has no summoner spells, and he is caught out. Lyra makes the play.
That is for game 1, he says.
Revenge. Hitting up in Mike's jungle.
That also means, again, remember, they have the presence on top side. Solo is pushing in, but Lyra's exiting the area here, so Hanser should be able to CS under his turret. Those are the kinds of plays from Lyra that people associate with, Envy Lyra and him playing Nidalee and going aggressive, Lee Sin, and those types of plays. But he makes the Skarner look good. Use a little blast cone. Flash in there for the Assassin Scorpion, making Captain Flowers very proud.
Absolutely. That's how you got to play it, man. Get in there and flex on him.
And he's even going for the blue smite, which I see a lot of Skarners go for the red smite to try and duel the Olaf. But he's just going for a little bit more movement speed and kind of, I would assume later, to just dive the backline. But good combo from Febiven.
Yeah,
he's level 6.
Getting some nice damage on there. Part of those Swain buffs just make it so that combo is so deadly once he does land the Never Move, the Vision of Empire. Such a wide radius now, he can chain that very easily. But Mike Young is onto the Drake solo, and it should be pretty easy for him to take this one down. Mithy just comes over to say he helped, and Mike should secure this one rather effortlessly for TSM. Cloud Drake #1 going their way.
Yeah, I mean, in the mid lane in that little skirmish we just saw, we saw kind of the after effects because Bjergsen with this early roam, you do sacrifice some lane experience. We were talking to Jad a bit earlier discussing, Febiven and the playstyle and him being one of the mid laners that when the opponent roams, likes to just shove out the lane and gain that lane advantage and some tower damage instead. In that case, there was an extra added layer of the summoner, but we got to see the upsides of it.
He's got the pull.
They're looking for the play bottom. Sven's going to be chilling smited. Lyra decides, okay, that's fine. We're just going to go for 50 instead. But the hook comes through. And now both TSM bottom laners going to be in some trouble. Sven still trying to walk away from this one, but Apollo's got the damage. One more auto attack should do it. Can he find it? Hakuo, who rips the soul right out of him.
He's on that playmaking thresh, and he is making plays early with Lyra.
I loved kind of the decision making there from Clutch Gaming in this bottom lane play. They go on Sven initially, but then they take the Braum, and they know that Braum's next move is say, hey, come here so I can jump to you. And Hakuo is aiming the hook, expecting this, kind of thinking one step ahead. They end up grabbing both.
And that is huge because that bottom lane is the one that got dove early. They reverse the pressure before a turret can go down, and now they allow themselves to equalize here. This is a great gank from Lyra.
Okay, so they started off, he's level 6, they force a flash out of Sven, then they take option number 2, knowing that the next step would be to, jump to Sven. Great job there by Hakuo. grabbing him in as well. And then Mike Young arrives. Oh, they've already lost it. So abort mission. TSM, they cancel everything and just take the 2 deaths.
And that's a situation where Lyra doesn't have flash from before.
Right.
And so a flashless Skarner going for a gank like that, and even having it succeed against two people who have flash is huge.
You can see right there on your screen, Lyra as Skarner, 4 wins, 0 losses with a 4.8 KDA throughout Spring Split here in 2018. This has been a champion that he has performed incredibly well on.
He does a little bit, kind of a different thing than most people do. Like invading an Olaf on Skarner is something that is pretty unheard of. You usually just go farm your own jungle and try to outpace them, but he's very aggressive on this champion and even takes plays like that where you go, okay, it shouldn't work, they have flashes and I don't. He was able to go for the risk.
And I really do love it when I see people invading Olaf at the proper time. Because as strong as he is in 1v1s, you know that, especially in that situation, you know, he has no flash, he has no ultimate. Olaf does get low in the jungle because he will get bonus attack speed from the passive, but in getting low, you have the opportunity for people to, you know, come kill you, which is not often the case because they are so beaten up from the early stages.
And you even saw Mike Young there. He's killing the Krugs. He actually leaves a few Krugs there because he's like, I just died doing that last time. That gold is not worth it.
They're not worth.
Exactly.
Not falling into the same trap twice. Not in the same game. Mike Young still 1-1-1 on the Olaf. He's got the Cinderhulk completed with the Skirmisher Saber, so he's got a lot of dueling potential. But like you guys already mentioned, it's Lyra who's got the extra chase down power with the Chilling Smite. He'll be looking to continue to set up those plays for the team.
Now they're headed bottom side, though. Both of them have Predator ready. Mike Young has the control ward and the mid laner.
And Mike Young is just ready to start off on this one, but he pops the Ragnarok for pretty much no effect. And that means that it now might be up to Clutch Gaming to look to make a play. They can't really get an opportunity just yet. Haunter decides to blow the horn and go after Solo here, who's going to be stuck in Mini-Gnar form for a while. Haunter gets some decent damage down there. Going to continue the chase after him. Bjergsen coming around to cut him off at the pass.
Oh, he's got
Solo seeing that, trying to get himself away. The flash comes out. Bjergsen looking to finish this one off, and he'll get it. Bjergsen grabbing himself another kill.
Haunter kind of the herder right there, just corrals Solo, feeds him right into the jungle, pushes him towards Bjergsen, and they end up flashing for it, but secure the kill here with the CC combo. Solo didn't even get to use his flash. Didn't kind of expect Bjergsen coming around to cut him off, I guess.
Yeah, it was kind of strange because he didn't want to use flash there. He could flash over the wall, but I feel like he doesn't want to waste a flash for no flash in return.
Well, you would have wanted to flash earlier at the Rift Herald wall,
Exactly.
which he was right next to get out, but thought he could get out of there, saving the summoner spell. I know that feel. You never want to utilize those
never wanna
before
waste it.
you really see the whites of their eyes.
But I actually think it's better that he doesn't use it there. Like, people get criticism for not blowing summoners, but he's going to blow flash and get nothing in return at that point earlier. It's like Haunter's not going to flash after him. This case, he dies. Bjergsen blows both of his summoners. There's an opportunity for Clutch to exploit Bjergsen's low summoners, and it means that Solo has his flash so he can continue lane pressuring. I actually think it's okay that he did that.
On the lines of Bjergsen's resources, though, I think it's very important to point out this early into the game, only 11 minutes here before any big-ticket items are completed. Bjergsen paying a lot of respect towards Lyra and that playmaking potential on the Skarner, rushing the QSS to make sure he's not the victim of that pull.
2-kill rise here, definitely a formidable opponent, and he does have Realm Warp available, so both side lanes do have to worry. Whenever they see, you know, Bjergsen just drop off to one side, they're gonna have to definitely respect the possibility of him coming in, and that makes a lot of this vision around mid lane very important.
A lot of vision around this Drake pit's going to be very important as well. You can see 30 seconds away from second Drake. It is Infernal. That's the one everybody wants. That's the one that's going to contribute so much to either one of these teams if they can get it. So priority over that area is going to be paramount, at least until that next Drake falls.
And I always like to look at gold right before. It's coming up right now. Febiven has 1,700 gold, so he's backing. He does have TP, and Bjergsen's sitting
No
on
cleanse this time.
1,500. Yeah. Bjergsen has 1,500, and he won't be able to spend that before that Drake spawns and potentially show up to that fight. So you see the Abyssal Mask now completed for Febiven, and he's going to be able to show up there. Uses the TP to get back to mid.
Abyssal Mask for Febiven, and he has the hourglass, or the stopwatch, excuse me, ready to go, which can be absolutely team fight winning if the Swain can get that ulti off in a great spot, pop the stopwatch, and ignore some damage.
And because of that, I actually think that Clutch Gaming should have priority here because they get to shove out mid. But Bjergsen, he's going to back. His Ignite is coming off cooldown. He can swap that for TP and show up himself. Oh, actually cancels it. So if they start it now and go for a fight, Clutch is actually favored.
Yeah, Clutch Gaming has started off with the blue steel first to set them up for this. Mike Young is in the area, and TSM looks like they don't want to give up the Infernal, though.
Ooh. Likely wanting to give the blue buff over there, but Febiven misses it by about 5 HP, so they just give it over to Lyra instead.
Every second matters here because now Bjergsen got to back. I don't even know if he has to swap out his summoners.
He's waiting to see if he needs to.
Yeah, he's going to do it anyway. And now TSM are actually in a better position because Clutch went for the blue and they wasted a lot of time.
Solo does have Mega Gnar pretty close to popping, though, so Clutch Gaming could go for it.
Yep, there's
That
the
Infernal
TP.
Drake sends some trouble. Here comes the fight. TSM has priority over the pit, and they've already got the kill onto Hakuo. Is anything else going to be even happening to that when a Solo can't find the backup for his Mega Gnar ultimate? Now on the front line, it's going to be Haunter having to run away. Febiven wants to go in, and he finds the never move. The follow-up is there, and Lyra is able to grab the kill onto Mithy. Sends Kog'Maw food, and Apollo makes it 2 for Clutch Gaming.
And they're going to be able to get the Infernal Drake afterwards. TSM can only push minions in the mid lane.
That was a huge turnaround. Solo's ultimate to delay the damage, even though Clutch weren't in a position to just absolutely wombo combo them off of that. It put TSM in an awful spot, and they were able to chase them down and get that Drake. But Bjergsen looking for a little bit of a trade.
Febiven, no ulti, no summoner spells, so he's not really looking for anything to do with this fight. But Clutch Gaming have got to be ecstatic with the way that played out, because it looked like it was starting pretty wrong.
Yeah, and that is also going to push Apollo ahead in the Rage Blade race. Very important between these two AD carries. You know, he does have 2 kills to his name here on the Kog'Maw, and he is able to complete it in addition to some Merc Treads, because there's so many of those CC abilities that we talked about in Champ Select that he's going to have to navigate. Here's another look at how this dragon fight all started out.
And you can see the hook lands onto Mithy as he flashes in, and then Lyra goes after Haunter here. He actually suppresses him so he can't hit the second part of the Ornn ultimate and affect that backline as Solo got that massive 4-man ulti.
Yeah, it was kind of an exchange of tanks there, as both of the frontliners teleported into the opposite side and then tried to make their escape. But because everything from Mike Young was blown early on their Thresh kill, it was a very low health Olaf with no ultimate available. So he, even though he didn't die, he was kind of out of the little skirmish
Pretty
there.
useless, yeah.
Yeah, and so Apollo, he flashes just to follow Sven to get the extra kill on the AD carry.
And I just want to talk about Clutch Gaming as a whole right now, because this is one of those teams, I mean, if you look at the names on TSM, these are names that you see as, like what we were talking about earlier, these guys who expect to get to the finals all the time. When you look at Clutch Gaming, yeah, you've got some experience in those types of positions with someone like Febiven, but you've got 3/5 of the Envy roster from last split. You've also got Solo, who's experiencing his rookie split here. You've got these guys who you don't know how they're going to perform in playoffs and in these best of 5s, and they are making a fantastic adaptation in game number 2.
But you even go back to the early days of Envy where they were very low in the standings, 10th place, looked fantastic in their game still, just didn't have it all together. And then they made playoffs, and it was still, hey, upgrade solo laners. Now they have Febiven, who has championships of his own.
Apollo said himself in the video pre-match that he's seen the banners hanging up here in the North American LCS and always thought, those are not for me. But with this team, he thinks they can do it.
Feels like they're playing a whole different game now, and they're definitely giving TSM a run for their money here in this game. They're up a couple hundred gold, but Solo's found himself in the middle of a 1 versus 3, and there is no way out except back through the spawn platform. Bjergsen goes on a killing spree, and now it's going to be a race for some turrets.
Oh, those bottom lane minions, those are not for you, Solo.
Not today.
The life of a top laner.
Shelly.
Don't have flash like that, you're just going to get knocked down. But you're going to see here, trying to actually push 2 lanes at once. They'll try to trade turrets.
They knew they weren't going to win the first turret race because of the fact that TSM already had that bottom lane tier 1 so low. They try to push the 2 lanes, like you said, to make it so they come out on top through that respect, but they can't quite finish off mid lane.
But this looks like a classic TSM from the old days here. Bjergsen 3-0-1. He's been performing magnificently throughout the last 10 games, and they just gave him solo turret gold on the bottom side. They are trying to buff up Bjergsen in this matchup and set him up to carry.
And it works well with their team here. He can split push on the rise, create some side lane pressure. And then they also have the tools with the Ornn, with the Olaf and Braum that we talked about to try and actually create that space. Let's take a look at the wards as well, as TSM have kind of set them up down on that bottom side, allowing for a lot of that play.
Fabivin will continue pushing up mid lane for now. We talked about before that Drake fight how he had the Abyssal Mask and the stopwatch for himself. Things haven't changed too much, and really the big turning point for that Swain is going to be 2 items, because that's when the Zhonya's Hourglass comes online, and that's one of those big power spikes that everybody sees as so iconic for the champion.
But even if when he hits that point, he's 1,500 gold behind Bjergsen, who will potentially go for split push plays, and the question is, despite the items, can he actually match the Rise with the Realm Warp plus the teleport?
And if they can't match the Rise, and they have a team that relies on like a Flash Skarner initiation or a Flash Nara initiation or a God Hook from Hakuo, those are difficult to pull off into a 4-man squad that has Ornn ultimate for defense, Braum ultimate for defense, and does have some ways of evading some of the hard engage. Right now, though, MikeYoung's actually trailing through the jungle with their split pusher Bjergsen here, and they might even go for the side lane play instead.
Yeah,
Solo does have Flash.
Trying to pick on Solo because they don't give him much attention, and there it is.
Here we go. Flash for both Bjergsen and Solo going to be answered by one another. Ulti from MikeYoung, but that means Clutch Gaming has the opportunity to push here in the mid lane. Varus ultimate going to be used trying to keep this alive for as long as they can, but it won't hold long.
Yeah, the opportunity cost of going for a 2-man play on bottom side, it allows Clutch Gaming to get that objective and get some global gold for themselves here.
And also, that's the mid lane turret, so now you get to push up, and there's both neutrals coming out.
Oh!
That was the flash out of MikeYoung because he didn't have ultimate.
Knew that was going to be a true death sentence if it landed, so he had to pop the summoner, get himself away, especially with Baron and Infernal Drake both spawning in under 30 seconds.
And you can see mid-priority is the name of the game. With that turret down, Clutch get to push towards that tier 2 with their minion wave, and now they get to pivot to whichever side they want. And it looks like, despite the Baron coming up a little sooner, it's a harder objective to take, you know. Infernal's pretty easy.
Just a little bit.
2 Infernals would be really nice for them.
2 Infernals could definitely be a win condition if this game goes later on. Clutch Gaming staying very, very even right now. You can actually see the gold not even 100 apart.
And I think that they should be able to take this Infernal as well to double stack them for themselves. Oh, actually, they get a hook instead.
Hakuo finds that onto Mithy. They get a little bit of damage down there, but nothing that's going to break a fight just yet.
With Ingenious Hunter here for Lyra, his cooldown on Righteous Glory is already back up, as well as the Predator boots. So they also have the opportunity to try and speed boost in there with Skarner.
Skarner's got everything available. Fabivin also still having that stopwatch, has the ultimate ready, the flash as well. Apollo with that Rage Blade completed, but the same thing can be said for Sven. Both these 80 carries being those 1-item power spike champions that get to rush Rage Blade means they'll be on pretty equal footing going for this. But now, once again,
they're burning it down.
Up the Infernal Drake, but they are doing it way too fast. Clutch Gaming wants to get in there, but they can't do a thing. And the Realm Warp gets them out clean from TSM.
Bjergsen with the magic tricks. Now you see the Infernal Drake. Now you don't.
Poof. It's gone, and it's right under TSM's scoreboard there. That ties that count up and keeps the game truly even when you account for the gold and the stat value.
Even though Clutch had it warded, there's this control ward on the side next to where the pixel brush is. TSM put like 4 people in there, waited for Clutch to go answer mid, and then they just rushed it down. It was a quick kind of switcheroo.
Well, that switcheroo ends up getting them an incredibly valuable neutral objective.
In a spot that I don't think they really had, you know, much right to get. They actually played it very well, because having that mid turret down means that you shouldn't be able to contest it when the enemy's is still up. But they're able to do it, and they come out on top with it because of a clever macro move.
Speaking of clever moves, I want to point out right now that Lyra has paid the Skarner tax as the Skarner. He picks up a QSS to make sure that when he's going in there with the Righteous Glory or with the Predator or whatever he wants to do, he's not going to get stopped by a Rune Prison or by a stun or by a Varus ulti. He needs those big pulls.
Brought to you by the man who would swap his smite for cleanse. Lyra definitely really likes being able to get out of CC effects in these fights later.
Yeah, I mean, we did see this yesterday as well. If your opponents can use it, means it's fair game for you.
Yep, all's fair in League of Legends.
Oh, another cool thing, like you touched on, Kobe, was the Ingenious Hunter for Lyra. He's actually holding on to his warding trinket, and you see he's got 69 in terms of his vision score right now, and that's because Ingenious Hunter reduces the cooldown of your trinket as well. So he's been warding up the wazoo instead of denying vision and allowing Hakuo to kind of see where he's going to throw these hooks.
71, a very impressive amount of vision score when you compare that to the fact that support's only sitting around the 40s right now. So a lot of work being done in terms of those extracurricular activities for Lyra, not just making the big plays in the fights, but making sure that they're ready to set up around it as well.
And he has been one of the big difference makers in this game compared to game number 1. TSM focused him so heavily in game number 1 with a very successful early game plan, but they have been able to recover on the side of Clutch Gaming this time around to make it a much more interesting series. Very well set up here with red buff on Apollo level 11 as well. Ooh. Teleport even coming in, actually.
That's from Febvin to kind of return to the lane and shoot out because they had lost track of Hanser. He had dipped into Fog of War.
Yeah, maybe they were worried about the hard engage. We talked about the speed with which Ornn-Olaf combination can come at you. Also, sometimes, you know, the control wards that they have standing around Baron right now, trying to get over there to help retain their vision control around this area. But yeah, definitely using the teleport this time.
Oh, another nice hook from Hakuo over the wall. Mythy going to be eating that one as now the Ornn ultimate comes through, finds its way down onto Apollo, who's going to be forced back a little bit here. TSM trying to strike back at what looked like an engage from Clutch, but they're still hanging out pretty comfortably. Solo looking to go in, trying to find the opportunity, has the flash, doesn't go for the Mega Gnar, and TSM breaks it off.
Yeah, TSM blew the Ornn ultimate and the Varus ultimate. They're two giant crowd control team fighting abilities there, so Clutch Gaming were looking for a little bit of counter to punish this small timing window on the back of it.
Looked like you might have been able to see the potential for a flash into Mega Gnar ulti there, but the issue with that, I think, is then Solo's the only one up there, and you can't quite get everybody else to follow in time.
And everybody else has flash on TSM, so if the damage isn't there immediately, they're just going to flash away, which could be good for the resulting Baron fight later, but it probably means you could lose Solo, and they could just counter, and then you lose
There's too
Baron,
many question marks on it,
yeah,
right? There's too many thinking emojis.
Exactly. You don't want to have actual question mark on you.
No MIA pings, no MIA pings.
Yeah.
We're not looking to break the ping spam filter here today, boys, but Clutch Gaming are looking to break down some of these TSM wards in the Baron pit, but that one, very sneaky, hanging out in the very back there. As Clutch Gaming will continue hanging out around this river brush. Lyra far forward into the enemy jungle to capture the Spire. If Clutch Gaming can ever force a fight around one of these, that could be pretty helpful for him, but the Ornn ulti comes through, ends up hitting a field goal instead, not finding anybody important or anybody at all. Mike Young going to be soaking some damage on the front line now as Solo goes into the Mega Gnar, goes for the single man slam onto Hanser, and they've got him.
That was even without Fabibin near the rest of Clutch Gaming. Very well played by Clutch Gaming there to evade the initiation and kill Hanser afterwards. It's going to mean they start up Baron. There's an answer here, though, available. Mike Young with flash.
But Lyra also able to go in, and he pulls in Sven. Mythy having to walk away now. Solo goes down. Sven grabbing the kill onto him. TSM will stop the Baron attempt for now, never move, not finding its way onto Mythy. Clutch Gaming will be forced to walk out.
Yeah, because it's so early in the game here, the death timers on the top laner that they killed, not long enough, because Hanser has teleport. So if Clutch Gaming went back to Baron again after that kill, then they'd also have to worry about Ornn teleporting in. So they're just going to take their kills and walk away with the extra little bit of gold. Here's another look at the initial evasion.
And what happened was, he kind of splits him down the middle, predicting a move up from Apollo, but then when Hanser goes forward, they stun him, throw him into the wall, stun him again, and he just actually cannot move because Febvin gets in range to pull, and that's another displacement and a stun.
That thing is so jarring.
Yeah.
Confident play there from the duo of Clutch Gaming. Then here they've got the Skarner flush threat.
The extendo sting, just pull him right back in.
Good stuff from Clutch Gaming, showing that they're still able to find these opportunities time and time again to turn the plays around if TSM missteps. But TSM now saying they can find those opportunities of their own. They want to capture the Skarner Spire, take back control of the Baron pit, force Clutch Gaming to now answer that. Drake is live for the 4th time this game. It is Ocean number 1. We'll see if the teams choose to prioritize that. It's honestly not very high value right now, but remember, we're getting really, really close to the point of the game where the next one killed will spawn an Elder instead. 29 minutes is that cutoff point. If this Drake isn't killed before then, Elder will come up next.
Well, it looks like the mini-map, Solo is down around there. Maybe he's just messing around with the Scuttle Crab as he walks away from it. But yeah, you're right. Like, the pull right now between later game Ocean Drake or top side Baron vision control is so big. Hakuo is the target.
Ornn ulti comes out, forces the flash away from Hakuo.
That's a minute cooldown on that Ornn ultimate, so he just keeps throwing that out every single time it's up.
Mira wants to go in for somebody. Man, he's fast, but not fast enough. Can't quite close that distance.
Gotta get that Spire. Go a little faster.
If only, man. If only. Skarner's all about going fast.
Well, he definitely can do that at this stage of the game, but the QSSs are coming through. You look at the entire backline here for TSM. Bjergsen already had one really early on in the game, but Sven now with one as well. Mithy with one himself. So the options are starting to dwindle. That's why he was running straight at Haunter, right? If you get
That's
the
the only
tank,
guy you can pull.
give me him.
Don't pull the tank, but it's the only person he can really pull in these fights. But they actually think they're safe here. Clutch, they swept the pit. They didn't see that ward. Now they put down the control, and they try to do it.
Haunter has teleport, but he's not starting the channel yet.
Mike Young has flash that he could try to go for this. Baron going to be taken down to Happy Feast. Solo whips the Mega Gnar! He's going to be bursted down in the front lines as Mithy keeps himself alive. Featherman will stay on the front lines, trying to tank this one, but disaster for Clutch Gaming signals a retreat. Mike Young wants to chase after them, but he can't quite do it just yet. Lyra looking to maybe come back in, make some kind of a play here, but Clutch strike out on that one.
Ooh, a big fumble there from Solo, and it looked like they were just trying to make something happen off of the engaging TSM because they were about to get flanked by Haunter, but it didn't land.
My goodness. They're not going to get too much else off of it, though, because, again, it's a top laner with only 20 seconds left. He has his teleport available now, and Clutch Gaming just burned Haunter. Let's take another look at how it happened, though. All right, 5,000 health on the Baron. He goes Mega after he whips it, as you said. Put him in the room prison. Everyone focused him down, and then they also kited on the outside of the Vivin here, forcing his flash in the 5v4.
Yeah, we've all been there.
I love Solo's, they're so subtle. The roll of the eyes from before and then that one, just, that's all you can really do.
That is about all you got at that point. TSM will finally go after that Drake. And by the way, it is post 29 minutes, so we will get to see the Elder Drake coming online just 6 minutes from now. And that will be yet another big uber buff for these teams to fight over that could very well determine the tipping point of this game that has almost reached 1,000 gold difference, but it's bottom lane where Haunter's looking to make the play onto Solo now. He's got Bjergsen hanging around nearby, could come in with the Realm Warp. Solo goes into Mega Gnar, still walking himself away, gets underneath the turret.
Solo has just been picked on pretty much all game.
I feel like all season.
Yeah, the expression shows it all.
A lot of coins there mid lane. Things all just came out of nowhere at once, but Aqua will pick up a couple, keep himself walking back towards that Baron pit again. It's all about the vision. Like you said, Kobe, yeah, you've got a mid-game, late-game Ocean Drake that doesn't really mean a whole lot, but these wards could just determine who gets Baron, who gets caught off guard.
Well,
it's so important to keep them up.
And then if they are continually having these little skirmishes around Baron and around the Vision, then the Ocean Drake then maybe will come into play as far as regenerating up after a blunder. Maybe you miss an engagement, someone gets chunked down. Because it does look like it is going to settle into a fairly standard play here. Control wards are being cleared out once again. Solo still trying to make some headway here down on the bottom turret.
And we have to think about this Kog'Maw here for Apollo. He's got cleanse, and as they hit that late game, rooting him up and having ways to get away is going to be huge because he's also just going to output a lot of damage. A lot of the gold is on him from Clutch.
Okay, going for Solo once again. Bjergsen gonna find him.
Really doesn't like this little Gnar trying to make those moves.
He does.
Wait.
So he didn't have vision until they saw Olaf see look at this ward up on the red buff. So he was worried that there were more members of TSM coming. That's why he started channeling.
All right.
Then he decided there aren't, so he wanted to lower cooldown on the teleport.
It makes sense now. It makes sense now.
I got you. I'm working through the brain.
I was like, no, we don't get 2 teleport misclicks in the same game. That's that. I refuse to accept that.
Bunch of detectives up here.
Gotta follow the
super sleuths. Everybody's figuring it all out.
That's our new crime drama that we're gonna have out soon.
NALCS Super Sleuth, starring Kobe and Zyrene.
Man, Sleuth doesn't sound.
I'll be the sidekick that just doesn't actually solve the mysteries, but I'm there for comic relief.
You just bang through the wall every once in a while. Start shouting at everybody.
He gets to be Watson on the side,
Yeah. I can handle that. We can make that work.
Meanwhile, they've actually made a side lane change here on Clutch Gaming. Solo's had enough of everyone expending ultimates and flashes and teleports on him, so they put Featherman down there. He has his teleport ready, so they're exchanging out the canceled teleport for the availability to join this Baron fight, and they're going to have him try and keep those minions under control. But again, it retains such an intense amount of pressure here around this Fog of War because Hanser continually throwing out the Ornn ultimates, fishing for picks.
Trying to find those picks could be the difference in who gets to start this team fight off their way. And one thing I want to point out too, what will be a difference very, very soon, the QSS on Bjergsen, he's approaching full items, and at that point, you're stuck with this sort of dead item that isn't dead because you need the active effect. It's incredibly important, but at the same time, not having that 6th item that's some sort of real AP itemization is going to feel really bad for your damage output compared to what it could be.
Yeah, the only thing I think that you could really do with that is swap it out for potentially Zhonya's later and say you'll Hourglass if you think you're going to get pulled, but that's kind of it. I think he would keep the QSS, but you see Clutch Gaming starting up the Baron.
Once again, daring TSM to answer. Solo's going to be tanking it for now. Bjergsen coming in with the TP. Clutch decide to leave. They'll pick up the Scuttle Crab instead.
Bjergsen cancels it, so he would have to walk over with Realm Warp, so Clutch Gaming could go right back onto the Baron and start it up. TSM still pushing.
This is it. Do or die for Clutch. They
Bjergsen
decide. I don't know if they're going to do. Lyra still wants to go in, still looking to make the pulls. He goes in, he goes after Hanser, the one man without the QSS, but he gets away. Mithy can't do the same. Febiven finally popping the stopwatch as the Ornn ulti comes right back after them. Mike Young gonna be looking to go unstoppable, but Hanser's out of the picture. Febiven takes him down. TSM 3 versus 5 will yield the Baron.
Again, the ideal target for Lyra to get with Skarner is Hanser, the tank, because their AD carry Apollo has all of this % health shred. He'll melt him just like it would melt anyone else, and that is the non-QSS target.
Exactly, and Hanser, he doesn't have adaptive helm yet for the Kog'Maw. He's purchased the Abyssal Mask, so he isn't actually incredibly tanky against him just yet.
And things are going to get even more difficult now that that Baron is up and running on the members of Clutch Gaming. Let's take another look at how they did it here.
So Hanser actually gets pulled in, but Mithy jumps to him, and the Swain root, watch Febiven here, he'll throw it out after, throws it here, and it actually gets Mithy on the back, jerks him in after, and then they change their focus after the Swain E and passive were used.
Yeah, Hanser trying to get out there with the flash. And then in the end, Febiven flashes forward once again, snags him with another one of those nifty roots.
Yeah, it's very jarring. And also, Hakuho, he pretty much full purchased, I believe, the Banner of Command there as they went back.
Speaking of full purchases, Runon's Hurricane for Apollo means this Kog'Maw's teamfight damage is going to be even more ridiculous than previously stated as Clutch Gaming decides to push up the mid lane, Baron buff ready to go, that Banner minion doing what Banner minions do, pushing towards the TSM inhibitor turret line, and Clutch is 4-man strong, pushing this one. They should have Solo hanging around, Lyra there as well. 5 men now as Mithy gets pulled in, and that's the kind of hook you need. Lyra takes some damage, but Clutch Gaming still able to find the kill and the inhibitor turret and the whip from Hanser. Now it's TSM who are struggling. The QSS onto that tank. There are no more good ult targets. It feels bad for Skarner, but it feels damn good for Clutch right now.
Oh my goodness, Hakuho just little icing on top of the cake right there. Lands the death sentence. They secure another kill. Mid inhibitor's been taken, and Clutch Gaming are right back into this one. Let's take a look.
Wait.
Are they going to finish this Elder Dragon or go for a fight?
Clutch likes to fight a little bit more than like to do Elders. Ooh.
That hook over the wall almost finding its way onto Hanser. Clutch Gaming not getting a lot out of that one, but expending the ghost of Febiven there in case the fight did break out in earnest. They peel right back towards the Elder.
Yeah, you can see Mithy TPs to get over there. If they're going to try to contest this, TSM are ready to fight.
TSM not willing to just let this game continue to slip away like this. Solo in the pit. He's got the Narbar ready to go.
He's got flashy
TSM,
as well.
5 men strong. Still looking to contest this one. The hook comes out. Bjergsen's going to be kept safe for now. Solo's still going to be on the front lines. Mithy dead. TSM mounting their counterattack, but Solo's still the only one anywhere near gone. Febiven tanking things up. Still got the ultimate ready. TSM wants to wait until this dissipates. They want to allow that to break. Hakuho's not able to find the death sentence. Solo wants to get back, heal up, TP and return to the fight. Clutch Gaming allowing the Elder to reset. They want to go after the fight onto TSM instead. Nice to see us. Solo's coming around from behind, and Hanser's caught out. QSS cooldown's a little bit too long, and Febby goes on a rampage. as Mike Young will try to get away with the help of Bjergsen. They'll do so, but Clutch Gaming with yet another victory.
They are demolishing TSM right now. They get some more kills. They have a minion wave on bottom they can push with and get another turret before then finally retreating to that Elder Dragon.
And this is a massive wave, and they have the banner back off cooldown here, and 15 seconds on that Baron buff. They'll be able to push this turret and maybe another with Haunter dead for 30.
Tier 2 out of the way, Tier 3, their sights are set. No tank, no big front line there for TSM. Hakuo, it's like it's a point and click. 1 for 1, Mike Young's gone now, and there truly is no front line for TSM. Clutch Gaming still with the rest of the team going, able to take down the inhibitor itself, looking to make even more plays. Bjergsen incredibly low, still kept alive, getting himself away. Rune Prison down onto Lyra, but he backs out. The inhibitors are gone, 2 of them now. And Clutch Gaming makes this look better and better.
Oh my goodness. All right, now Haunter is up. Mike Young now down, and Clutch Gaming have the smite advantage to try and transition this. That was almost a 5,000 Baron power play right there. I'll have to check in on the Elder Dragon, though, because TSM don't want to give away this objective.
And we're seeing kind of this structure advantage for Clutch, the fight advantage for them that's happened multiple times, but it's only actually a 4,000 gold lead for them. If TSM are able to somehow get this Elder, it could be a very close game, but right now, Clutch, we're seeing Lyra on point with 100% kill participation, and Hakuho, like you said, Flowers, he is making this Thresh look dirty.
2 inhibitors down as well. So TSM have to deal with so much minion pressure. It should make it easy for Clutch Gaming to set up for the Elder Dragon. And that means you have to, again, walk into some jungle corridors. You have to worry about the QSSs, who has them active, and who's going to get hit.
And Clutch Gaming, their style has been, they don't like to take those big objectives unless it's a for sure thing. They're more,
no risk,
way more on the side of fight after you bait them in towards the objective. And since they have tools like the hook and the Skarner pull, they're definitely going to go for a lot of baits here.
Well, they've still got themselves 3,500 gold up. We're starting to hit massive itemization power points for pretty much everyone on the board right now. You can see 5 items online for almost everyone on the side of Clutch Gaming. Nearly at full build there for Febiven, having the needlessly large rod in the inventory, still needing to upgrade that. But it's going to be yet another fight near the Elder Drake. Clutch Gaming has the Spire.
And like you're talking about, Irene, Clutch Gaming have been patient. So they have the minions pushing with them. They just want to delay TSM right now, let their minions get closer to finishing the job. But there they go.
Here we go, onto the front lines they are. Lyra going to be taken down, already out of the picture, but now TSM's found their team fight. On the front line, Solo's going to drop just Nexus. Febiven looks to at least get something in return. Spin is down, a big pick there onto the enemy 80 carry. Clutch Gaming, 3 versus 4, but they've still got both their big damage dealers. TSM's on the retreat. Febiven looking for the never move, not able to find it onto Bjergsen. But the death sentence! Hakuo is a freaking monster this game!
Yep, they're teleporting in to the Nexus turrets with the super minions.
Febiven will look to take down the Nexus turret as Hakuo goes fishing yet again and just lands hook after hook after hook. And Febiven will seal the deal onto Nexus turret number 1, the second, soon to suffer the same fate. Very long death timers on multiple members of TSM. The Nexus is low, the team is down, and Clutch Gaming will tie this sucker up.
RNG at the same time also have blue side in, in this matchup. Invictus Gaming decided to choose red side for the second game as they had side choice, and that will give, of course, priority choice over to RNG if they do want to look towards a bot lane AD carry early on. Whether they want to prioritize the top side of the map, we will see. So RNG will ban away the Olaf, and the Braum coming into this second game also be priority Swain ban. Pretty much have to ban that one on this patch.
Yeah, but already you see the change about RNG. 280 carries bans, no more. So the Braum immediately taking its place. They thought that the Braum was way too much in lane to deal with, incredibly annoying, especially if it's tagged up with the Kog'Maw. A lot of the weaknesses that you have out of the AD carry gets covered by the fact that Kog'Maw gets that extra bit of range on his W. So suddenly, yeah, you got tagged with Braum passive. You're likely going to just be, I would say, yeah, sure, you die off of it, but mostly you just get coaxed into a fight that you didn't want at all. It was Uzi and Ming that just wanted to be a poke lane. That was their whole intention in the lane, but they ended up getting coaxed into a fight just because Braum was able to get a proper tag.
2v2 winning is definitely not what you want to see if you're RNG or any team, in fact. Sejuani will be the final ban from Invictus Gaming, paired alongside the Sion as well, and Xayah out from RNG. So targeting the bot lane in the end, but now RNG, what's the priority?
Gotta be a Rise, I believe. It's great for Xiaohu, and I don't think the Rise was the problem last game. In fact, even though he was going up against the Cassiopeia and the Cassio's great into the lane, he had strong wave manipulation to allow for ganks to happen. All right.
Yeah, he was moving to those side lanes, but it will actually be the jungle, which is prioritized in the form of Zac for Karsa. So not looking towards the ADC, not looking towards Xiaohu. In fact, the setup from the jungle.
It's a lot more safe, I would say. Sure, you can invade on a Zac, but we've seen what you can do with a Zac. What's clear he can have. So starting out of Wolfgang, maybe starting out of Raptors, we've seen a lot of weird things with Zacs, or just going for a blue buff and a Gromp start at the same time. So I would like to see what Karsa can do with the pick really early on, just so he can mess up Ning's timing of, I guess, Karsa's camps.
IG say, cool bro, I guess we'll just lock in one of the strongest bottom lanes right now and also deny that from Uzi. They pick up the Varus, they pick up the Tahm Kench.
Beautiful. I really do wonder about that, because RNG banning out Xayah because they don't want the Xayah-Rakan matchup coming up, but they're never going to pick it themselves. They just allow Varus and Tahm Kench to go by the wayside, so I guess they're going to get pretty powerful scaling picks for themselves.
RNG will counter that with their own Kog'Maw into the bottom lane here from Uzi, so taking a page out of Jacket of Buck, and it will also be the Karma pickup, so we'll see if that goes towards the mid lane here for Xiaohu.
Yeah, it's likely going to go mid lane. I mean, every single time we see a Karma pickup, it's always in the back of our head that Karma can go support, and it's always possible, but it's just such a good mid lane pick a lot of the time. Doesn't really have a bad matchup, so we get to see what matchup Invictus Gaming want to pin into it.
Invictus Gaming will look towards their jungler as well. Will be the Skarner for Ning coming out here as well, so we know what the jungle matchup is going to be. We know what the bot side could be as well if the Karma goes bot lane indeed, but Invictus Gaming are looking towards their next phase of bans.
This is going to be pretty interesting. It might come down to the same kind of tactics here. Invictus Gaming have strong lanes, or at least now they can play around bottom lane, while knowing that they're likely going to go up against the Karma in the mid lane, so they can start to really concoct a good pushing bottom side of the map. It's a little scary if you're RNG and you're just looking for scaling, stronger team fighting, but that's where Zac comes into play, because if you ever dive, is what IG do constantly, then diving up against the Zac, who is very good at counter dives, or at least counter ganking you, then it kind of puts a wrench into the plan. So I want to see if Karsa has enough vision in this game to catch out where Ning is going, where the plan is coming down, and protect his own lanes.
Hopefully this time Ning will not just be all over him like he was in the last game. The matchup is not quite so stark as it was Olaf into Kha'Zix that time around. Lulu will be the ban from Invictus Gaming, and they're saying, okay, we see the Karma. If you're going for a shield comp around Uzi, we're going to put that one to rest.
Yeah, the solo Q special. Duo Q's coming out with Kog'Maw, Lulu. Even Jingdong has done it. So we don't allow that to happen. If you have Karma, Lulu, we haven't even seen the top laner. It could just be a dirty Shen pick. That's just the pick you don't want to go up against in the later portions of the game.
Could be that one in the end. Talia and Rise both going to be banned out here against Rookie. Going to be taking those away, but they also banned away the Orianna in Game 1, and that is still an option for them in Game 2. Now back over to IG for their pick.
And here's the thing. Best counter to a pick composition, which is what's happening at Invictus Gaming. Skarner, Varus, good in terms of finding that pick and trying to deal damage to them. This time around, it's going to be Kog'Maw. Best way you can do it is shield comps. I mean, Karma's already that one answer, so it makes sense that Invictus Gaming are smart enough to take away the Orianna and to take away the Lulu. Really strong from them.
The unbanned Orianna comes through from IG. And it's very common for them actually to give a counter pick or a last pick over to the Shy, or even JackeyLove, or even Ning. At the end of the day, Rookie very rarely gets the last pick for himself on red side, choosing to actually give it over to the team. So once again, will be the case as the Orianna comes through.
Oh, I'm really worried. I guess that turns into the Karma support.
Tank Karma top incoming.
Yeah, unless if your name is Shakarez inside, you're just going to go full tank Karma. So I'm worried for Zatai just because he has to blind pick immediately. And it's likely going to be a tank if they want this composition to work out. So if he picks himself a Shen, anything just that's raw tanky in the top lane, and Invictus Gaming are holding onto their top lane pick, could very easily be a Jace. Just something that can break that apart.
Actually choosing to go for a dual threat right here and throw the Gangplank into the top lane, but that is into the Shy, who gets counterpick.
I think Camille will come through. That's a really strong answer towards the GP. Maybe Gnar, anything that looks to dive the pick. We already have Skarner coming through, which has a lot of utility, but follow up with some raw damage.
The Shy is definitely thinking right now because he has everything under the sun.
There we go.
Do it, Skywalker. Bring out the Fiora. Take out Zatai in the top lane. Pick up the carry.
And that's what we want to see out of the Shy. What he's known for is the ribbon picks and, of course, the Fiora picks. We saw him rocking the Fiora last year, and sure it was rocky points, but we saw a lot out of him, a lot of raw mechanics there. So he gets not only time with the team, to mesh with the team, to know how to play around him, but he gets to go back on the pick. So this is going to be a different Shy entirely from what we've known his Fiora for. He's not going to get ganked repeatedly. He's going to have Ning in his back pocket.
He's always going to be at least going to be the 2v2 and top side. Also interested in what this Fiora is going to be picking up in terms of keystones. You can also see the win rate pretty abysmal in the LPL, only a 26% win rate. It's been over 15 games as well. So the Shy is going to bring this one to the top lane, and we know he is extremely proficient on the champion.
Yes, and even though I love it just because he is the Shy and he goes towards these carry picks, you gotta love it. But it's going to be hard this time around. The reason why it has a low win rate is just because you do need items to get towards a relevant state of the game. GP was going to be fine unless if he gets repeatedly dived or he finds himself in a 40-minute situation where Fiora just has a lot of items underneath her. And remember, there's a Galio in this composition as the side of RNG, so looking for early plays post level 6 is going to be incredibly difficult on the side of Invictus Gaming.
What about pre-6 rounds? Where should my eyes be? If I'm looking around the map, what do I want to look for?
Oh man, I'd say mid lane immediately. Mid lane and jungle. Jungle just to see if you can find Zac early on. Because the one thing you don't want is a Zac unseen. Because a Zac unseen is likely going to just dive you. You want to be able to catch him in his early pathing so you know where he's going to path towards and you can have proper vision as to what lane he's going to gank. Because what's annoying about Zac? It's very hard to ward from.
He's everywhere.
He could really just be finding you in the mid lane or bottom side of the map, and you wouldn't have the ability to catch him.
Well, we're expecting Sparks to fly once again heading into Game 2. RNG and Invictus Gaming, it's our match of the week. Again, the fans out here in full force, live from Shanghai. And right now, RNG are looking towards Invictus Gaming, pushing them back in their jungle, looking for some early vision as well. And actually pushing in fully. Rookie's going to see them heading in, however. And Ning is just on the tail end right here, looking maybe for a ward over into Wolves or even into Blue itself.
Yeah, get a good start for Karsa, just so you know where the Skarner's starting off.
This is going to be a lot of downs onto Zhao. He was completely split up from the team. He's going to have to flash away. Baolan thinking about following through, and JackeyLove will send him packing.
Yeah, they lost focus while they were invading. A lot of them were just focusing on Orianna that was trying to force a pincer. But then they lost Sahu. Sahu just decided to go in a little bit deeper and found himself right beside JackeyLove. Unfortunate for him.
The straggler sent back to base, no flash, and also going to be late to the mid lane wave. Take a look at some of these keystones. Will be actually the Kleptomancy for the Shy into top lane, something we have seen pretty frequently from the Fioras. And the Zatai will be doing the same here as well.
So back to the Klepto GPs. And we see the Klepto Fioras more so into tank matchups. But she feels confident that she's going to be able to get the procs onto the GP. So she has to do well early on or she's going to lose a lot of gold if she falls behind in the matchup.
Yeah, something we've seen Gimgoon as well pick up into the top lane. And immediately both of them pick up red potions, fantastic. Into the bottom lane, JackeyLove and Baolan once more. Going to be facing down Uzi and Ming, who get the first push on this Kog'Maw.
It's an hilarious stat that we've shown up. Yeah, Invictus Gaming, at 15 minutes, incredibly far ahead in every lane. It happens often. This is why this specific game is so interesting, because both teams usually have the inclination of having a stronger early laning phase. And even though we see the Kog'Maw here, having the mage support and Karma sure, so you have the Ardent Sensor later on, but it's such a good matchup into the tank matchup. So we get to see a rare mage support, just so Uzi has a good laning phase.
Yeah, Ming down there on this one. Meanwhile in the jungle, just watching them clear out the jungle camp so far into this game. Zach just going to go towards those Raptors right here before heading up to his top side of the map, going towards this blue buff, and maybe then looking towards the Shy, who will get the initial push down onto this gangplank.
Yeah, this is very safe for Karsa. The fact that he was able to go through his camps just unaffected by the enemy pressure, just because Skarner was able to just take his own camp alone. So he's going to be pretty slow to getting to the next location.
Ning also pushing up there, actually just going through mid, so we're going to say hi to Xiaohu on the way past and go towards his own Raptors. Baolan is pushing forwards, has the Unsealed Spellbook on this one, doesn't have the Glacial Augment, so doesn't have the run you down time Kench, but will still be able to get the auto tracks down onto Ming.
I love Glacial Augment and approach velocity when you have raw tank matchups, just because it's easier to walk up to a melee champion and get the gobble. Going up against the mage champion, it's usually fairly difficult because they're at such a distance, especially Karma that has the shield and speed boost. It's not going to happen.
Xiaohu gets the taunt down onto Rookie, and Castle was there as well, just saying hello, but Rookie reads this one, starts to back away, opens up enough distance, and he knows that Ning was here as well, who's going to immediately launch himself onto this blue buff. Casa, is he going to go towards the blue buff first or go towards somewhere else? Well, he's about to see Ning in just a second, places the ward over the wall, will turn into a smite contest on this one. He jumps in, managed to get the smite down to Casa, and Ning looking for the damage back on towards him. Notice that his mid lane was pushing up, indeed the top lane as well, so Casa will be the one to back away, but get away with his own blue buff.
Yeah, it's a strong way to get your own blue, of course, when you get him popped up into the air. It's enough damage as well, recognizing that it was in smite range, and there's no way for Ning to smite it while he was CC'd, so good for Karsa to be able to pick it up. He's not going to have help from his own lanes just because Fiora and Orianna are pushing in.
Casa jumping back towards the Grump as well, and Ning is just constantly invading, constantly taking everything away, and this time Casa didn't have the smite, only just came off cooldown, and Ning can take this one away.
Yeah, it's relentless. It's ruthless. I'm just surprised that RNG put themselves in the exact same position in Game 2 after recognizing that they were getting pushed in so frequently in Game 1, and Ning was all over them. So once again, Ning is back in Karsa's jungle.
Oh, flash forwards out from Rookie, and Ning was right there to receive Crystal Slash and just honestly a drive-by of a kill.
Yeah, Canada Post Delivery Service, I get the kill, and I'm peacing out. That was pretty hilarious. The fact that I think Rookie thought he was getting the kill, 100%. And it was the insurance policy of Ning just to go for the drive-by.
There is no escape, and Ning looking towards the bottom lane, maybe coming in for yet another gang. However, the recall is coming in from Baolan, who is level 4, so at best this will be a 2 versus 2 unless he's looking for the counter gang.
TP coming through.
South from Baolan. Carson, meanwhile, was actually trying to solo out the dragon. Yeah, what indeed is Ming is trying to escape from this one. Uzi wants to turn it, but Baolan eats him up and ready for the gobble. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Ming was trading off against Jackalove. Carson coming down into the bottom lane. It's a 2 versus 2. Flash out from Ming. He's out of mana, and now Xiaohu rotating into the bottom lane. Ning and Baolan needs to get out of here. And Baolan, does he have the Devour back? Doesn't look like it. Oh, just in time, and saves Ning.
My God, the fact that Uzi was able to trade right back onto that along with Ming. Hero play, because that should have worked out so well for Invictus Gaming. They tried that play with Baolan TPing into the lane, a 3v2, and somehow RNG answers back.
You expected it to work out. Casa was soloing the dragon as well, but he was able to rotate, and Xiaohu also managed to get there before Rookie in the mid lane, and somehow managed to get the pushing advantage or find that rotation on the Galio, so RNG are able to even it up in the end. I do want to say that, sorry to cut you off, Raz, but just looking at some of these gold totals once again, you even said it yourself, we see like in a very similar position. Top lane's ahead, mid lane's ahead, bot lane is only now behind because of that last trade.
That's why it's kind of rough if you're RNG. You find these plays to make it worthwhile, the trade, pushing Invictus Gaming back out, and so you're still thinking bottom lane is doing so well for themselves. Tincius ahead, even getting a kill onto Ming, but then the solo lanes are still a major problem for RNG. They still have to do something about mid lane specifically.
Casa jumping into the bottom lane, Elastic Signature comes through, and he wants that stretching drag onto Jackalove, but the Tam Kench will do. The catfish for dinner is what it's going to be for Uzi. Jackalove backing away, instant flash over the wall as he sees Xiaohu closing in.
I guess if that's your winning lane, you just keep going back to it. Right now, Jackalove and Baolan need to rethink the position here. Pushing out for trades, they thought it could work out just because the lane was looking good for them. They even had the recurve bow for the laning matchup, so they felt like they could still trade evenly. But then Karsa just came right back for the counter.
Ning just doesn't leave, does he? He's back into the top jungle. This is, in fact, Skarner's right now. Jackulov pushing up, and Ning's going to find him, walking the dog. Uzi and Jackulov at the same time. Last auto attack comes in. That's just a little bit too easy. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Ning looking for the dive with his tie. So the Shy's going to be the one tanking this one. He gets last auto attack down, and Ning will back away. But the action doesn't stop there. Karsa looking for the elastic slingshot into mid lane. Finds the abduction, kidnaps him into the tower, and he's got the waiting arms of Xiaohu. Torn, damage, Karsa, he's low, but it's not enough damage from Rocky.
Unreal. I mean, at least he had the cell division, but he didn't even need to pop it. Lane after lane after lane under attack, because the moment Ning showed himself top lane, it was the go signal from Karsa to go mid lane. It all started from the bottom side of the map with all those ganks coming through, because Jackulov didn't have flash. We saw him flash over the wall to get out and away from Xiaohu when he roamed down bottom lane. He should have respected, he should have known that the summoner disadvantage would have meant that Ming was going to be able to close the distance and get the stun. It happened, the snare went down, Uzi followed up with his own flash, and that's the kill. Very easy on the side of Uzi and Ming on the bottom side of the map.
RNG really firing back in this game, and also that extra kill over to Uzi. Now 2 kills in this early game. I said the same sentence in game 1, actually on blue side, but it will be this cogball going towards the Guinsoo's once again. Baolan looking for the play into the bottom lane. He has Ning in his belly. Jumping forwards, that's the impale from Ning. Can Uzi get out of here? He doesn't have the flash, he doesn't have summoners. In fact, he just goes for the kamikaze run onto the minions.
Yeah, I'll get the minions for my troubles. That's how I keep a high CS rate. I'm still ahead of you, kid. Maybe you can take the turret. But we'll find out if you have the gold attempt.
Will Ming stick around because he has Karsa coming down. He tries to find Sanctuary underneath this tower. Jackulov pushing forwards first, but it's Baolan tanking up the turret. Ming is already down. Karsa tries to find a return kill and kicks Jackulov out of the stomach of Baolan.
Good counter gank coming in from Karsa, but Ning just doesn't stop. Goes for the dive onto Ming. I feel like this is personal. We don't talk about it often, but the fact that Ning and Ming were both on Young Miracles, they get a few chances to play up against each other, barring scrims. They go up against each other, and we're ganking mid lane, bottom lane repeatedly.
Raz, there's a lot of grudges in this match as well. You know, you look towards the bottom lane. Uzi, he's got his hit list. He's already gone through iBoy. We heard him at the start of the split. If you want to be the best, you got to go through me. And Jackulov is the last name on that list, so he's got to prove a point heading into game 2. Didn't go so well in game 1.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. Welcome to Fiora. Yeah, don't step back into that, Satai. If you land the lunge, by the way, gives you cooldown back. So he's just going to keep doing that for the rest of eternity.
The thing about the Shy, doesn't really care about jungle pressure. It hurt him when he first started out in the team, but now it doesn't matter too much because he relies and trusts Ning's pressure. So if you give him that distance, he's going to just queue onto you at all times. So yeah, he's going to win every skirmish.
And what does that result in? Well, 1,000 gold advantage over to the Shies. We just saw the gold totals. 34 farm ahead of the Gangplank. It's so often we see the Gangplank matchups and like, well, I'm down, but I'm still ahead in gold because Kleptomancy. But not in this case. The Shy is demolishing this top lane.
Yeah, and it's only going to get worse here. Just take a look at how much damage is going to be going on to Zatai a little bit when the wave bounces back. Ning has ulti now. He got it while he was taking blue buff. He's got blue buff. He's trying to push for Grump. If he stays here any longer uncontested, he's going to look for a dive top lane. That's why it's crucial for Karsa to be there.
Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Chain of Corruption landing from Jackulov. Baolan's going to have to save him. We'll send him back to his turret. But right now, even though RNG have made such good plays counter-ganking IG, Sequin kills, and they have massive advantages in the top side of the map. Rookie getting CCs in the mid lane. There's the taunt, follow through, chain CC, and get back here, Rookie! Flash away out of the shockwave, and Ning rocks up just to see his mid laner die. Yeah. Ning chasing down the bottom lane.
It's in the blob, and it just doesn't stop here.
Baolan gets the 1-4-2 flash, as Jackulov will jump inside his belly and get back to safety.
I wonder how Jackulov and Baolan found themselves in the river, because that was going to be the next hit list here for Karsa. Getting the mid lane gank freely, he was going to come towards the bottom lane. So there's rough timings. Jackulov's going to have his flash soon.
This is really bad for the Shy right here. Ning is closing in from behind, so he knows he has assistant. Predator's also going to be here, but the instant teleport, the timing out from Xiaohu will save his top laner, and RNG also pick up the dragon.
All right, good defense overall from RNG, and that's what it is, defense, pure defense. They need that to get to their next item break points. Uzi is so close to getting his Guinsoo's Rage Blade that Karsa is just focusing the bottom side of the map so he can get that proper back timing. If they get a kill on the way, then you know what, God bless, let's go for it.
Yeah, we'll take everything away from this one, but the wave's already pushing up, and IG, bottom lane, they've got to be fearful. There could be a Zac around the corner, we just don't know. We don't have the warding to really spot this one out. Top lane is still being harassed down, out from the Shy. He's also picked up the Ravenous Hydra, so the harass and the push will continuously happen with Rookie coming into the top lane.
RNG have to feel somewhat suspicious about this pressure here.
Well, the Shy's already launched himself onto the Titan. Actually, he just kills him by himself. Rookie, you're not needed, mate.
Yep, I was wondering if Galio was going to lean topside, but it feels like he was already put in that coffin. The moment GP was underneath the turret, at that kind of HP, I'm like, all right, I guess I'm just here for the insurance policy. I'm going to go back mid.
And Rookie does the right thing. He sends the ball over to the Shy, gets the assist, and he was like, well, that was the easiest assist of my life. I'll go back to the mid lane. Top lane will be the first tower of the game. 650 gold over to the Shy, who has now opened up almost a 2,000 gold advantage over the GP.
Yeah, 2K gold lead up in the top side of the map, 1.5 in the bottom side of the map. Seems like RNG has a strong lane there.
But Karsa, he's always going to take the opportunities to try and take down Rookie in the mid lane, but the response is coming out from Ning and Baolan, and the bottom lane rocks up, but Xiaohu, he's now getting caught out in the mid lane. It will be a 1-for-1 trade.
A good response there. If you have the TK, you can just send them there for the defense. It's going to be a tower trade, you would have to believe, that now that both Jackie Love and Baolan are here looking for the mid lane tower.
But if they pick up the mid lane tower, that is definitely a trade I would take any day of the week, Raz, if you're taking bot lane for mid lane.
Maybe go for the kills.
Ning's looking for it. He gets the smite down, jumps over the wall with the elastic slingshot, but that completely exposes the mid lane, and he had 3 minions to boot.
I don't know if they're going to be able to get this one unless if Ning decides to tank a little bit. Going to be a little bit rough. Yeah, so just gonna finally breath of fresh air for both sides. I would say Invictus Gaming looking towards the mid lane, that's on their hit list. They need to be able to take that mid lane turret down if they want to look towards continuously defending the Shy's push. If they get this turret down, then suddenly he can actually look to pressure on towards the next turret, or at least the inner tower.
Now, he'll be able to keep going in the top lane as well. He wouldn't even have to swap into the bottom lane. Continue this pressure on the Fiora. And it was obviously a statement pick. The last pick of the drafting phase was the Shy, picking up the Fiora. The crowd goes, ooh, how is this going to work out? Well, into Zatai so far, worked out exceptionally well. But right now, you can see he's kind of being stymied. He can't push too far into this jungle now.
Yeah, so I would say that they should move their rotation, have Fiora going to the bottom side of the map so you can look towards that outer turret. And it puts them in a proper position to start really solidifying the wards that they currently have in the Baron area. Sure, Baron's not up until 5 more minutes, but if you have it up there for 5 minutes, then you can push towards mid a little bit more easily. You can defend that up until the 20-minute mark and then force a rush. It depends on how RNG deal with it.
And Caster is not holding back on the trigger thing in this game. Slams both the bot laners together, and Baolan will manage to pick up Jackie, send it back to the turret response with the chain of corruption. Rookie is looking for the shockwave, drags in the tank right here, and Ning is closing in from the flank. Can he get in range with the ultimate? Well, he's getting the speed up out from his team, and Uzi, he's split up from the team right now. In comes Xiaohu with the save, and Ning trapped in place. Rookie taking some damage. Xiaohu back towards the jungle.
Yeah, I was surprised that Karsa got the pull on there because that canceled out the knockup that would have come through on towards Ning when Xiaohu came in.
That opens up space for Invictus Gaming to take out the outer mid lane turret. And what does that mean? Well, the Shy is now pushing up to the inner turret almost immediately off of that pressure.
All right, Shy's got to back up here. So once again, even though Rift Herald is up, I believe Invictus Gaming should just look towards bottom lane with how fast they've been moving. They can actually just look to defend the Rift Herald, so RNG are not in position to take it. That being said, it ain't about that.
Ain't about that life, Raz.
Yes.
Nah, not going to happen. Mid lane's already still there. Top lane, the Shy is in the top lane, pushing. It's going to stop Zatai recalling as well. That was blind, by the way. And Ning is just going to solo up the Herald.
All right. So that just means that we'll have to look towards where they use the Rift Herald. That kind of opens up the fact that they can go for the inner mid lane tower anyways. Usually that's incredibly hard, especially with the Zac still available. He can look towards those counter dives very easily. But if you just have a Rift Herald, then you can play a lot more safely around it and allow it to get the damage down onto the tower.
And the Gambit pays off. There's going to be Herald for nothing over to Ning right here and Invictus Gaming. A bot lane outer turret is still alive for RNG, so it may be the point that they want to attack, or they can try and use this Herald to break open something more like an inner turret now from RNG, allowing them to push further into this base.
This turns into a little bit of an arms race if you're RNG, with how fast IG's been pushing the tempo once again. Running this kind of composition if you're RNG, you just have to look for the Renan's Hurricane for Uzi.
Well, this is the first amount of pressure I've seen go into the top lane, and it was not a lot because there was a fantastic dodge coming out of the Shy. It will not be tagged up by the stretching strike, and in fact, 1 versus 2, the Shy is still going.
Yeah, I mean, what's going to stop him? Why are they even going for this 2v1? She still has flash, she still has ulti. So, of course, she's going to still win that 2v2, or that 2v1. I think right now, RNG's in a really desperate situation if they're trying for this.
Carter again, his target this time is the minion wave. Now he has nothing to hit, so the Shy's going to walk away from his elastic arm. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Ning will continue pushing, giving space for the bottom lane to collapse onto Xiaohu. Shield of Durant buys a bit of time, but Xiaohu is dead to rights. He's going to be going down, and the minion wave is still there. So Jakadov and Rookie will take down this turret.
Yeah, very free for them. Pushed out mid lane and allow them to go for a bottom lane dive, knowing that Zach has been spending his time top lane. So once again, they punish the fact that RNG are allocating resources irresponsibly. Putting Karsa top lane, knowing that what the hell, Shy is going to deal with that easily. Maybe they were just trying to gun for his flash. Maybe they're trying to gun for his ulti. Maybe they just, it's like, hey, you blew a cooldown, great. Now you're eased up in some pressure, I can leave. But he doesn't leave, he just stays there for the wave as well. So it's just not good resources to be putting down. Zach needs to be solidly in the middle of the map so he can move towards bottom lane if he was needed.
And again, we're in this position where RNG are on the back foot, but they do have more late-game insurance this time around. They have the GP in the top lane, who, yes, is not having a great day, but they also have Uzi in the bottom lane, who did get a nice influx of gold in the early game, has his Quincy's Raid Blade, did, however, have to slow down and pick up the QSS. So it's going to be a while until this Cockmore is hitting like a truck, but there are ways for RNG to come back into this game.
Yeah, it was necessary going up against the Skirmishes. You do have to pick up QSS. I like the fact that Tom Kent was taken away, too, in pick and ban, because that's usually the response for a Skarner pick, is to get the straight denial. You don't necessarily have to pick up QSF if the support plays it well. But because you don't have any bit of rescue in your composition, this means that he just has to go towards the Runon's Hurricane a little bit more slowly.
The Shy is now being aggressed on by 3 players in the bottom lane, so Ty's going to get the speed up from the barrel. They'll just follow after and hit with the parlay.
This is just hilarious, this chase down composition. When the Shy has lifesteal and can just go up to the next minion wave and heal up all of the damage you levy towards them.
Especially if the minion wave is coming in. Just see the flash out there from Xiaohu as he backs away. Rookie pushing him into his jungle. Invictus Gaming now looking towards the mid lane, and Ning, he's got the Herald ready to go engage in the mid lane, but meanwhile the bottom lane is a 1 versus 1. The Shy's being chased after, and the Shy wants him, but he's out of range of the launch. Meanwhile in the mid lane, there's going to be the engage onto Baolan. He pays the price for Invictus Gaming's aggression, but the Herald will still get the charge.
I just love the fact that the camera panned down towards the bottom lane. They were so damn interested in the fact that the Shy was chasing him down, that the moment Zach jumped in is like, now we're not interested in that. We don't care about that counter dive and nonsense. I just want to see the action. But no, it did happen. Karsa, once again, leaped out the moment the siege was about to go down and stopped the push. It was Baolan that was inevitably going to take the hurt from that, because if it was Jackie Love that got knocked up, if it was Rookie that got knocked up, Baolan was in position to save him. He just means that he put his neck out for it.
Just saw the Shy stats last time we played Fiora at 96 CSD. I have to assume at the end of the game, out of laning phase would be absurd, but again we can see this mid lane engage, and it came out from Karsa.
Now what do you do if you're anybody looking for a siege up against the Zach composition? So this is what you have to be afraid of. Last time we got to see RNG this far behind, it was with Karsa manning the Lee Sin, and every single time you would look for a dive or a siege, you would find a phenomenal kick to get you back into the game. So if you're going up against RNG, you still have to be afraid of Karsa's way of getting back in.
I will say more recently we saw RNG fall behind against JD Gaming when they had MLXG in the jungle, and they fell very far behind. That was actually a 2-0 over to JD, and that was the last series.
Yep, that is true. It's always unfortunate. When you have MLXG on the team, you're either incredibly far ahead because of him, or something goes wrong, and you ain't coming back. So I like the fact that RNG bringing on Karsa and, funny enough, Zatai a little bit more consistently. So you might see this team get played when they're in playoff position, and if they succeed, perhaps internationally if it gets that far.
And it's worth mentioning that since the start of the split, since the very first game of the LPL, which was RNG versus IG, IG have done significantly better over the split. Their current total record is 27 games to 4. That's 13 series to 1, whereas RNG, they actually have 9 wins to 5 losses and then 20 to 15. So stark difference in terms of how well the teams have been doing in the league. But we're going out for another engage because RNG will not go down, not fighting. Uzi gets caught out by Rookie. He's going to send him packing, and Castle on the front lines has no protection. He's getting whittled down, but he barely survives. That's single digits. However, in the 1v1, no one's going to stop the Shy.
Yeah, Zatai has to concede the turret and has to concede the inhibitor if he gets absolutely no help here.
That means that RNG, their big 4-man stack, has to back away. Invictus Gaming move towards the Baron. They draw RNG out. Rookie, he separated from the team and may in fact die. Flashes away and Casa cannot lock on.
RNG need to start Baron right now. It's desperation time. If they do not go for the play, they lose everything. They lose the inhibitor, and the Shy is going to continue to move forward if RNG are just wandering around the Baron area.
You're absolutely right, Raz. I don't think he's going to stop. Meanwhile, in the top side, Baolan almost getting abducted there, but will be able to back away. Rookie and Ning need to get out of here. Baolan with the save onto Rookie. My life for Aya. Get the mid laner out of here.
All right, but you know what? The Shy backed up on out of there, so he's in position to look to defend the Baron. RNG still have to go for it, though.
Jakulov, he's waiting on this ward right now. He has been revealed, and Zatai will be trying to zone him away. Rookie over the wall, and Casa has locked on. Target acquired. There's going to be some covering fire out from Rookie, and Jakulov, he gets the speed up. And RNG, I don't know if they can catch him. They get speed up coming in from Ming, and they're going to chase him down, but the Shy has turned up to the fight. This has become scattered, but the Shy in the 1 versus 2 will destroy Uzi. Now Zatai is trying to get away from this one, but make that 2 kills for the Shy, who just turns up and kills everybody.
RNG saw their one opportunity, and it all crashed down the moment the Shy found that one-on-one time with Uzi.
He is a one-man army, Raz, and he's chasing out Ming right now. He wants a 3rd kill in this fight. There it is. Turns back towards Xiaohu, but he's already dead, and they are looking for the win.
He already prepped the wave, too. The Shy just took the game alone. This man cannot be stopped. I was wondering if RNG were going to be able to find their way back into this game, but the moment he found that one opportunity, one-on-one time with Uzi, that was it.
Well, the revenge is complete, Raz. Invictus Gaming up against RNG. It will be a 2-0, and Invictus Gaming cement themselves as the strongest team in the LPL.
Because Camille is actually allowing them to have Smitty J split push, but still be somewhat useful when a late game fight will happen, because Camille does add value there. Good damage, good mobility, and in fact, with the ulti that can lock people down. I would drop this as Zia ban, personally, because again, I'm not scared of H2K necessarily on that champion and how Vitality wants to play the game, and I would make that a Thresh ban instead, if I was on the side of H2K. But they've, back on blue side, last time they banned Zia, Swain, and Tahm Kench. They might do exactly the same again, but then we can just see Vitality go for another winning bot lane setup, because last game, Trundle and Jhin, it was super rough.
Absolutely. And I want to see how much onus Vitality are going to put on the Camille if it's something that they want to take away. Xayah, Galio, Standard,
It's the
Caitlyn
same.
would be the 3rd ban.
Yeah, they deny Sheriff from playing either Xayah or Caitlyn to make sure that it's a lot harder for H2K to actually use this AD carry. The Jhin performance once he got to late game was good, but again, as we highlighted, that bot lane was a big problem in the early game. And now it's Tahm Kench or Thresh that you can potentially look at.
And do you just give him the Tahm Kench? I mean, Jack Troll had a rough past week, but no, still giving him so much respect on the pick. Taking it away, this means Thresh will be open if Vitality want to take it. Vitality want to rinse and repeat from game 1, it will be the Caitlyn. Instead, they're targeting Smitty J.
Okay, so they're okay giving the Caitlyn to H2K. We know Mini Trubex likes to play Ashe against it. Could also grab the Varus for himself. They actually don't take it. So what Yamato Cannon did here was he put up a trade. He said, if you take Ryze, we get Caitlyn. If you take Caitlyn, we get Ryze. And Jizuke's best champion is Ryze. So H2K were kind of stuck in a tough situation. If this is Kate Thresh again, H2K might have to just concede the bottom lane in the early game. The Camille ban was the other one we talked about, how that has been a key pick for Smitty J to carry in the side lane. And I think Vitality right there, smart choice in the draft.
Take the Scion as well. Clearly not too worried about securing Thresh. They say, hey, Promiscu, you want to play it?
Yeah, exactly.
We're not worried about it. We'll take the Morgana. We'll take one of these alternative picks.
Exactly, because they get the last pick in this phase. They can give over Thresh and still have the answer you just mentioned. So this is a very smart pick and ban phase so far by Vitality, giving that trade to H2K that H2K couldn't really win.
Kind of shows H2K really not wanting to give her the Ryze to Jizuke, more worried about taking that away from him, giving Selfie something comfortable in lane than they are worried about setting Sheriff up with a comfort pick. Jhin has looked good for him so far. I wonder if we're just going to see it again here. Could be in danger of being banned out in the second ban phase if Team Vitality are keen to take it away.
Olaf again for Shook. He's not able to do anything early game on it, which is normally where Olaf shine, because H2K are just not a good early game team, and that's what we keep seeing again and again. So it is, in that case, a pick that's not really fitting their strengths, but he's taking also to deny it from Gilius, it feels like, and to add some early pressure. It is the Braum coming in on Vitality's side. We gotta see if they still want to pick. No, they actually don't go for Thresh this time around. They're fine grabbing a lot more scaling in this draft. I don't hope they pivot too much, because I think they did a good job in both games in actually snowballing the early game. But now it is a lot more, you know, scaling double tank. Could be the Scion mid for Jizuke. We always have to keep that in mind.
And of course, Braum a little bit better matchup into the Trundle.
Yeah, there's the Thresh ban, obviously.
If they do want to go for it, Trundle not contested quite yet. You see the bans coming in. Jhin taken off the board from Vitality, so not going to give that over to Sheriff. Jinx following up. They say, look, man, you want to play a hyper carry? It's going to be Kog'Maw. You are going to be immobile, and you are going to be vulnerable.
H2K might be okay with that one, especially against the big front line of Vitality. If they do get to late game then with Sheriff, he obviously becomes a massive carry on the side. Ashe is still available if they want to grab that one specifically against the Caitlyn on this side. And Morgana was going to be the other choice, the one you mentioned with the Kate Morgana. If you're Jack Troll down in the bottom lane, like, you can also grab Trundle yourself and use it against the Olaf and just play Trundle support in this case.
Not quite as positive as it is against the range matchup. Instead,
whoa,
getting the Leona lock in.
Wow.
Leona Caitlyn, okay, the dream situation, the chain CC is alive, but Tristana, a pick that we haven't seen nearly as much. Some range nerfs, some cooldown nerfs, making her not quite the popular pick she once was.
I was going to mention Vayne against the Leona. Still risky, but the extra mobility can be super valuable in this case.
He's playing with her heart.
Tristana is probably the most likely choice for him in this case, but it's a kill lane from Vitality bot. All in from Leona into traps from Caitlyn, and if you stay in that, you end up getting poked out or just straight up die. H2K though have Ryze and Tristana. This time they can rely on Sheriff's late game, so they don't need to rely on Smitty J early. Looks to be him back on tank duty. He's had his fun for this series. You got 2 Camille games, can't get more. And now we got to see if this Scion will go mid or top. And of course it's going to be the Talia once again for Jizuke, the champion he was so good on in game 1.
And very clear that Vitality are willing to let Cabo suffer on the top side of the map to set up Jizuke for success. And you are right. Look at the CC. Look at the level 6 Deficio. Oh. That is terrifying. That is so much CC. Sheriff, once again, no heal. Doesn't get the luxury of taking the Summoner spell ever against Vitality. Has to have the cleanse or he's just going to get picked off immediately.
Yeah, and it's not so often we see a Leona versus Braum matchup in terms of the support, but they don't even care about the Braum at this point because they know they just want to play around bot lane and they just need a ton of engage and CC for Jack Troll. That's what he's getting with the Leona pick. Specifically, Jizuke is going to roam down there multiple times in this game. And a reminder, game 1, we had this Talia pick for Jizuke. Gilius ganked mid level 3, secured the first blood for his team. At the moment level 6 was hit by Jizuke, he went bot lane instantly.
And wall after beautiful wall just set the team up to snowball it out. A single pick from Jack Troll brought it all home. Interesting to see, Deficio, what has changed now for H2K? Because I see Smitty J no longer on a hyper carry in the side lane.
It's a very different setup now. It's a lot more about Sheriff going back to being a late game carry on his side, but they still have this problem where they might get completely destroyed by ganks and roams in the bottom lane. They have to make sure that Team Vitality cannot just get super far ahead on that side. Top lane, It's just a tank matchup. It's not going to be too important for the actual game itself. I'm looking a lot more at the bot lane here. Defend on the side of H2K and be aggressive on the side of Vitality.
Aggression, what we're looking for as we step in. 1 win apiece, a best of 3 in front of both of these teams. Game 3 of H2K versus Vitality. Comfort picks in a lot of different places here. Deficio Shook keeping his hand on that Olaf 3 games in a row. 2 games for Gilius on the Sejuani, 2 games on the Taliyah in the mid lane. But it's hyper carry versus hyper carry here in the bottom side. Caitlyn, though, definitely has the edge in the early game.
I'm just glad to see Vitality still stick to this snowball bot lane strategy, because I think it's been very successful in the first 2 games. The fact they didn't get the Baron, that's execution around that one specific objective, but it doesn't nullify what they did earlier in the game. H2K, though, with this Cho'Gath, they are setting up for these kind of classic comps we've seen a lot in Europe, where you are so good at killing the first tank that walks towards you in a late game fight, because you have to feast from Cho'Gath into then a ton of single target damage from Tristana and Ryze. So late game, it's a fairly easy comp to execute when it comes to actually playing team fights. At this point, you just gotta make sure that your bot lane does not get absolutely destroyed. Level 6, H2K can easily go top and just cross map. Tower dive to Sion, they have to feast on a Cho'Gath, and they trade turrets. But we know Vitality will go bot lane multiple times.
Deficio, it feels like this is the classic setup for both these teams. H2K want to get safely into the late game. Vitality want to kill people.
This was like the easiest game to prepare the overall storyline. Early versus late.
Literally what all of our prep pointed to. Early game versus late game. Trying to find these advantages. Well, Sheriff, good news about the Tristana. Not going to suffer as much in the early push as previous picks. Explosive shot means that they can get the early advantage.
Now, obviously, with the changes to Tristana that happened, where more damage on a W but lost some range, kind of means that her level 2 all-in, if she can get towards it, is actually a bit of extra damage from the W. But generally, her laning phase did suffer from obviously losing a bunch of range, especially hurts against the Caitlyn. Sheriff, though, happy not losing the early level 2 push that we have seen him lose both games before this.
Yeah, and it's important to keep our eyes on Sheriff, because while SmittyJ was the kind of the surprise choice for H2K to choose to carry in the past game, Sheriff has been kind of the classic and did look very good last game on the Jhin. I think a lot of people would not expect these damage numbers to come through.
As soon as he got to the late game, he could carry. Early game, I think there were a lot of opportunities for Vitality to punish the bot lane even harder. Some missed opportunities on the all-ins on their side, but this one here is all about buffer that jump on Tristana when Leona goes all in. Promise Cube will try and stand in between Jack Troll and Mini Trupex when the all in happens and blocking the damage from the Caitlyn. Early
It's
move.
a little bit awkward. Shook is moving in.
Oh, he just snuck around.
Now we're going to try to run back towards mid lane.
Jack Troll will find him anyway.
Good bit of vision laid down, spots out the jungler. Of course, last game, Selby died level 2 to a very aggressive early Gilius gank. Is not going to be the case this time around, so already H2K much better off than they were in the game 1.
Yeah, just like the last game, Gilius not looking for just perma-ganking in the early game, because obviously he's playing a scaling tank on his side. He's been active. He's done his job. Really want to give him a lot of credit for how he's played in the first 20 minutes in both the games. Trundle first one, Sejuani the second one. Meanwhile, top lane, there's tanks pushing against each other.
And interesting too, I mean, SmittyJ kind of has been a rock for the team in the series, been getting these big laning advantages. I want to see what he can do now that he doesn't have the kind of comfort fighter pick, because you can see gets a decent amount of jungle attention, very forward in his lane, huge CF differences across his Camille games, but now it's a different story on the Cho'Gath.
Yeah, I only think we will get jungle attention towards him after level 6. If Vitality are just destroying bottom lane, H2K will have to go top to get something back. But the Taliyah pick does a very good job of just pushing in against the Ryze, and the Ryze, who, after some of the nerfs, did lose a bit of early push in his kit. Like, the damage from spreading around was reduced quite a bit. Jack Troll, just testing.
Fishing.
But the fact that H2K in this matchup can keep pushing just means that we're waiting for his level 6 before he can actually roam. What happened last time and what should happen this game is bottom side is where Vitality control vision with control wards. So when H2K goes missing from mid, instantly H2K will have to call. Careful, he could be bot lane, and you have to play passive all the time. And the control wards make sure he can always move. You can already see the first one being placed in the river. And H2K, their job is then to go top side and make sure they can always get something in return.
You can see Shook and Gilius both pathing around the vision so well. Is the team quite aware that the jungler is going to be?
Selfie
However,
should also, sorry to interrupt you, I just want to call out really quick when Selfie's back in base. I think getting TP for him is a big change from the last game. He needs to try and continue evening out the push mid, and then he needs that TP later to try and match the roam.
Sure. Okay, take a little bit of damage here, but you are so right, Fisher, because he was shut down so early the last time he played Ryze in the mid lane that he didn't really get a chance to go toe-to-toe, and wave clear freed Jizuke to roam to get his team those big advantages. This time is a little different. Jizuke going to struggle a little bit more. Level 5 Ryze push, still very strong despite the nerfs.
And now we get that double control ward set up. Jizuke can walk into this bot lane brush you see down here, and instantly H2K will not be 100% sure where he is. When is he ulting? Is he still moving bot? Or is he returning to mid? And you have to constantly play without full information of the Taliyah, and it just forces you to play more passive in lane. So it's hard for Selfie to follow. You can't face check if the enemy jungler is there, and that TP from Selfie will be ready in a couple of minutes to try and match if they want to defend bot lane, but until that happens, Jizuke gets the early push and can go for bot lane tower dives.
Good control right now on the bottom side, as you pointed out. Shook going to look to disrupt it.
Good.
No one there to interrupt him from taking down at least one of these control wards.
And this is one of the advantages for H2K now, where they don't have to snowball top, because it's not a Camille. They can actually invest a bit more on trying to defend Sheriff and Promise Q. Cabochon right back towards the top lane. In game 1 when he did this, he got killed right after because of a tower dive. Not in this game. Slow and steady.
A little different with the Cho'Gath. Kind of has a lack of gap closers to get close. Still pretty solid with the silence and the knockup to deal with Sion and his decimating smash, but not crushing the matchup by any means as he has been in the past in the Camille versus Shen.
And now with Shook on bottom side and Selfie getting the push, Vitality are not able to set up an early play with the Taliyah. This is very good for H2K specifically. They have cleanse on the AD carry, so again, weaker in the all-in, but it's all about just avoid the CC and jump away when 4 members show up. Move up steal.
Nice for Selfie. He's going to get level 7. Shook, of course, tailing behind a little bit as he donates the buff over. Gillies with the level 6 will want to find an opportunity here shortly. Suke now backing in the lane. But just excellent for Selfie to have this buff. Means he can sustain the push. Means he can deny this even longer, as you mentioned. Not give Jizuke the chance to roam. Yeah, and the further you get into the game here as Ryze, and you start maxing Q, you do get a lot of wave clear suddenly you can utilize. You do suddenly try and, you know, match the Taliyah push in that mid lane. Cabochon is around, but there's no ult on his side. A classic play from him has been push top, go mid, and gank for Jizuke. Can't obviously do it at this point here without the ulti. So there's a slow early game, which once again is in favor of H2K, who just wants to stall. Level 6s are here for Cabo. We saw the ult already burned. When it comes back up, maybe he has the opportunity. Level 6 for Jack Troll, not quite there, however. The Leona ult going to be crucial if they want to start these fights off.
Same 2 control wards back in place from Vitality. Setting up for the big play. A lot of small steps. Push mid, get vision bot side. Be ready to execute a gank. Jizuke will be spotted by Promise Q. It's kind of tense. Sheriff, he knows. Promise Q knows.
And we're waiting, right? Because we know that Vitality can be so explosive when they find the opportunity. And Jizuke with the potential to show up in a lane at any moment. H2K definitely... You see Shook, he's kind of pathing towards the bottom side. Not only is he ready to take the red buff, but he's ready to protect his bottom lane if Vitality want to move there. Gillies now ready to move in, waiting for his mid laner to get the push before he goes in any further.
Moving in. He knows his mid laner can react first. Selfie's TP still on cooldown for another 20 seconds. So it is now Vitality moving towards the bottom side. Level 6 not there yet from Jack Troll. Should be very close.
Jizuke has to be careful too. Selfie in a much better position. He's going to look for the trade. Won't quite get in range for the snare. Jizuke playing on the edge there. Can't afford to get locked up by Selfie in these exchanges. But there's Cabo. Seamoran hovering around the top side of the mid lane. Looking for the snowball. But Smitty J knows what's going on, knows where the top laner went, has the ward in the brush. And TP for Selfie means that if any play happens on the bottom side of the map, he can respond. Vitality going to have to settle for the Ocean Drake. It's not the kills that they may have wanted in the early game.
And they don't even get this one because Shook is still around bottom side. He doesn't care about top lane. Could go for a play against the Sion, but there's no point. Keep defending, keep stalling for your bottom lane. Make sure Sheriff gets his farm.
And you see a bit of a gold advantage coming in. A lot of that is Shook in the jungle. Bringing it home in terms of CS. Out farming Gillies, who's just been roaming around the map trying to make something happen. He's going to start up the Ocean, pings it out. Team ready to collapse. This should be theirs. We heard on the podcast earlier this week how important Ocean can be for these tank top matchups.
Oh yeah, every top lane at home is crying at the moment because suddenly for Smitty J, it gets a little bit harder with the mana sustain especially coming in for Cabo Shot, but also the HP. And H2K shouldn't really look to fight here.
TP going in. Stun not going to connect. TP is canceled. Cabo ready to respond, but H2K managed to back off and get the TP out, so a small win for them.
They lost the Drake. They most likely would have lost in any case here. And by stepping forward, they ended up trading TP for Flash on Promise Q. That means now Vitality do have a target if they go down to the bottom lane for a gank, just all in on the Braum and try and kill him. But obviously, if you are Vitality, you typically want to get the AD carry. And no TP from Cabo Shot is important.
And sidestep, Promise Q now could be in trouble with the Unbreakable. Comes up. It's actually Jacktroll who's going to get stunned up. The Chain CC manages to come through. Buster Shot available. Sheriff, though, not going to get greedy. It's just going to throw Mini Troopax back. Make it clear that he has the potential to all-in if he stays around in this lane.
Also knowing that if he jumps forward, Jizuke probably just ults down instantly, and then suddenly it's kills for Vitality. Shelby knows the game plan. Stall. Don't risk anything. Cabo Shot can't TP down. Double TP from H2K. Was there just before, but Sylvie's now changed to cleanse in the mid lane. He's actually expecting, he's saying, you know what? They're not doing anything but at the moment. They might go mid instead. So now he has cleansed against the Sejuani gank.
This is good play. If he sustains the mid push, it won't cost him either because it will not free up Jizuke to roam. And now they clear out that bot side controller vision that has been crucial for Vitality to keep control, to keep threatening the bottom side. So really all things are going well for H2K. Yes, neither side has a massive advantage at this point in the game, but we know exactly how H2K like to play in these late games, and they're the team that's proven that they can win consistently if they take it late.
Vitality are the team who had options in the early game. They drafted this Leona here. They gave up the Thresh in the first phase, let it slip so that H2K could ban it in the second phase. And then they prepared this Leona pick here to try and play around bottom side still, but this Leona against a melee support, so it gets a little bit harder. At least in the 2v2, it's not a squishy Sona or Janna you can just try and like ult straight onto into a trap and burn her down. In this case here, they do need the rest of the team. And we are looking at Gilius once again trying to establish that control we mentioned multiple times on the bottom side. Always the control wards, allowing Jizuke to move.
Freeze him up, but there's no opportunity to make a play. H2K are in position, ready to respond.
But this is the thing, right? We can see everything, but H2K, they cannot. So, suddenly, by Jizuke stepping out of vision, Selfie had to keep walking down bot lane, not knowing if Talia had turned around or not. And he knows if he's not there, and Vitality execute a tower dive, bam. That's kills, first turret going down, game snowballs. So he has to constantly sack a little bit of his own lane whenever Jizuke moves first. But in this case here, Selfie made it back to his lane.
Bit of pressure coming from Cabo. He
He has
does
to
use
move.
the banner on the top side. Now
There we go.
Gonna look to go to mid lane. Selfie has to back out of this one. It's not going to connect. He is in trouble. Realm Warp going to try to come in. Not going to find the opportunity. Flashes. Decimating Smash still going to connect, but Sheriff is here. They're now looking for the fight. The turn, the burn. They're trying to find it. Knocked up on the Cabo Shard. He's going to go down. First blood for H2K. Vitality trying to fire back, but they haven't been able to take anybody down yet. Promise Q stunned up. Zombie Cabo going to get one. Zombie Cabo not going to get another because it's Jizuke there to bring it up. That's the 2-for-1 for Vitality.
Oh, might get another one. Nope, Smitty Jays. He's alive. Shook will also have to step away, but that's the classic Cabo Shot play on the side. Move towards the mid lane, and Jizuke is trying more.
Trying to keep the siege going. Shook is the one caught under the tower. They want to burn him down. They know he has nothing. Perfect flash over the fat chunk of the wall there to make it out to safety. Now Vitality may have to back off here. Sheriff, a lot of confidence to step forward, but will clear the wave and stop the tower from going down.
Still a 2-for-1 here for Vitality. Haven't gotten the snowball they were looking for, but you take whatever kills you can at this point. Your Selfie danced around the initial engage, could have maybe flashed out instantly and just prevented the whole fight from happening, but H2K, they were ready to grab it in the mid lane in a 5-on-5. Let's see what happens again. Cabo Shot ults down, it's against Selfie, and here, if Selfie just flashes away initially, the fight might not happen, but I think actually, because he was a little bit further away and on the other side of Cabo Shot, he had to just kind of dodge around it and ends up taking a bunch of damage, and it's a good engage then from H2K, and Zombie Cabo Shot, no flash on Promise Q from before, gives him the kill, and Selfie can't get out.
Works out in the end for Vitality. Very close there. Good confidence in their team to bring it home.
Oh, Smitty stepped on a trap. I think Jack Troll's ulti also ended up whiffing in that fight.
And that Jizuke damage, I mean, just last team fight, 2K at this point in the game, you can see a much more even spread. the side of H2K, and a lot of that Cabo Shard damage just coming in from zombie form.
Cabo Shard's ulti is ready again. If he can do the same thing, push out mid, push out top, go mid. No flash on selfie. Smack right into his face, secure that mid lane turret.
Deficio.
The banner's here.
The inevitable push.
And Cabo Shard is mid, of course.
Cho'Gath has 100 AD. He needs the minions to kill that cannon minion for him. And now Cabo is just fighting Shook. Trying to bait it out. That means first tower for Vitality. The snowball has finally started 15 minutes in.
They got a fight. It wasn't the perfect setup for them, but they got the fight before they got the kills. They got some damage on mid lane turret. That was the most important thing. They get down turret. This means Jizuki can push even deeper and roam again. We're looking bot side. Sheriff, no cleanse.
Weaver's Wall almost available. They're going over as a duo.
There's no TPs from H2K.
They're now running. Instead, look at the immediate response from H2K. They're either settling on the Rift Herald or going top lane to make a play. It looks like they're going to trade objective for objective.
Well, Vitality will get another turret for themselves. More gold over to this team here. That mid lane fight ends up being super important for them to actually start something because it was such a slow game. H2K was constantly defending vision on bottom side. Nothing actually happened. This Rift Herald needs to give a turret over to H2K, otherwise they will fall further behind in gold. Second Ocean as well alive.
Only 1.5k gold. Double Ocean, nice to have, but not the end-all be-all at this point in the game. Now, Deficio, I think it's important when we talk about Baron. Very crucial that they can secure it on the side of Vitality if they want to snowball the game and find a win. We've seen them struggle, but also now they're up against a Cho'Gath. So much more Baron control on the side of H2K.
A few more seconds on Sheriff's cleanse, but sadly, it is a Tristana. Can jump away very easily. Jackfroll is around, hovering. Won't get anything in this case here.
Just gonna back up.
Might have something still.
He hit the flash forward. Jackfroll trying to keep it going. The ulti. Flash has been burned. Taliyah Wall is coming in. The coordination from Vitality as they want to lock down the AD carry. They want to take him out, and Sheriff will drop. Minion wave is here as well. Not a great position for H2K to respond. They may have to give up to tier 2.
Oh, good play from Vitality. Sheriff, he kind of knew something would happen, but he thought he was safe. With flash and everything. Cabo Shard going in.
Going in the middle of everything. Selfie, not going to find the decimating smash in there, but there's Jackfroll for the follow-up. Now getting knocked back in the middle of everything. Gillies is there for the backup. The JCC is beautiful. Vitality keeping the ball rolling. They want to get to bottom tier 2, but they're going to have to wait for the creep wave.
Well, they're coming now. Meanwhile, top lane, SmittyJ trying to get a turret for H2K. His own banner of command minion helping him, but it's going to be bot lane turret for Vitality. They have to work hard for these kills here, but they find another one. Creative play where Jizuka actually wanted to go back to base. But they waited long enough, and then by Sheriff stepping forward, they saw an opening and they went straight for it. It doesn't matter if you flash away, if the wall then comes down after and blocks you from actually escaping. So Vitality find 2 more kills for themselves.
And now Sheriff, no flash available, going to make it much harder. Future plays, still has the rocket jump, but has to be much safer with the use of his only escape option. Buster shot not going to be enough against Leona.
And this is one of the big positives around Vitality, and what a lot of teams are praising is the creativity. If the game is slow, they're always looking for just one way to find a fight. And they don't care if they have to go a little bit further than all the teams to get it. Like here, they see Sheriff step forward, and Sheriff knows that he might get engaged on, but it's a good flash in from Jackfroll to force the flash from Sheriff early, and then Jizuki comes in. And now, there's nothing H2K can do to actually defend. So it's a good setup. Nice, confident engage from the Leona, and exactly what they need to get more kills on another turret.
You have to wonder if H2K are going to keep putting Sheriff in the side lane to soak up all that farm, or if they're going to see that he's vulnerable now without the flash. Which is beautiful follow-up from the Vitality team. Once a fight starts and they're in their element, as long as they find it engaged on their terms.
I'd look for another player on top side without flash on that Tristana. Jizuki can keep pushing out mid and then look for the play. Baron spawning soon as well. And as you said before, the 2 Ocean Drakes, they're nice to have. They help a lot in the early game, but scaling-wise, they're not going to be too important.
Keeping Cabo even in this matchup, despite Cho'Gath having better kind of anti-tank scaling, so that is the one piece of good news for Vitality. It's not as big of a weak point as they might have expected, but now Gilius looking to lock it down. Stun does come in, cleanse as well. Follow immediately for Gilius. Good patience comes through. Selfie now running for his life. The threaded volley just out of range, but getting a summoner from Selfie, nice to have.
Jizuki did not want to fully commit and flash forward to trying to perfectly set up the knockback. Obviously knowing that a lot of H2K members were coming from mid. They're playing around the Baron though. Top lane turret is still standing for H2K. The last outer turret they got. It's been another game where Vitality have been able to get the early lead.
Sheriff has to be careful. Jacktroll not going to go for the play here. Doesn't have enough members strong. And Riftchild has been summoned on top side. Will buy a little bit of time. But not going to break a tower for sure unless it's left unattended.
Look at this. All the lanes are pushing against H2K. They don't have that Camille.
And Cabo's going in on the bottom side. H2K have been playing too much around the top side. It's all been a bait as Smitty J is actually the target here. It's going to look for the flash over the wall. The flash follow for Cabo. The flash follow for Jizuke. They want to lock him down. Got to keep him away from that blast cone. Are they going to have enough damage? Yes! Jizuke take him down. H2K now without their Baron control option, now without their top laner, this is going to be very difficult for them to play for the next 30 seconds.
Another good play here from Jizuke. Staying around mid lane, always looking for silence. Another one in mid.
Selfie.
No cleanse on his side.
Off to the side. No ulti available, but Leona ult is going to connect. No follow-up.
They were around, sadly. No ult from Gilius. No ult from Caboshot either to see if they could get on to Selfie in time. H2K, they're hanging on for now. But they're conceding a lot of gold over to Vitality. After that very slow early game, Vitality found two very good fights to gain an advantage, and then another roam from Jizuke just before here.
And a 4K lead. Not a bad thing to have. Double Ocean Drake's not as great, but when the Elder comes around, it will be important.
It's still going to come down to a Baron play. Once again, an issue for Vitality the last few weeks. Can they cleanly set it up? Leona is fantastic around Baron at turning for the fight. Giant wall of tanks will jump in the face of H2K. Sheriff does not have the damage to kill these tanks at the moment. So Vitality have a lot of ways to start a Baron, sustain around it, and then turn for the fights when H2K show up. They should be able to further snowball this game.
And Warmog's away as well for Gilius. So they're not even going to get punished for starting it if they want to try and bait. He will heal right back up.
Remember with the nerf to Warmogs, he's not a 3k HP just yet. Cinderhulk Warmogs does not give you enough stats. Still needs about 300 or 250 at this point before it activates. So will take a little bit of time for him. But they're still around the Baron itself and also threatening that top lane tier 2 turret. They can look for tower dive if H2K are suddenly split up. TP is there for Smitty J, but he might not be there in time if the fight breaks out.
Backs coming in for the Braum. May need to respond to top side instead. They're starting to move
This
up.
is the play we just talked about.
Rise could be in trouble. CC is going to try to come in. They are going to find the follow-up immediately. They're bringing it home. Selfie now in trouble. Just going to take him out as many True Packs grabs the kill, and it's Sion now trying to keep it going. Promisecue looks for the disengage. Does manage to connect onto 2. Single pick off on the side for H2K. Vitality happy to grab that one.
They keep getting something. A kill now. Top lane turret will take a bunch of damage, as well as Vitality do stay around. They are moving away now. Ooh, a lot of damage on Sheriff. They're actually going straight for Baron depth. Moving on to it. Traps lined up already from mini True Packs. Tanks who can stand in front of it. Smitty J needs to TP in.
Will have to be willing to burn at 7K and dropping. 6K getting lower. Predator has been used.
There's no wards for him to
Promisecue
TP
might just go
on.
down here. Trying to contest off the side, trying to break through those traps. Mini True Packs is healing up. It has to be careful. If Sheriff leaps in, could take him out, but not going to take the risk.
Oh, and it could have been big for Vitality, but they didn't have the ultis to turn here. Promisecue will go down. Assume the ult from mini True Packs killed him. Recall around the ward, most likely. Yep, right there.
He says that's for my boy Jack Troll after your 80 carry sniped him last time. So wards once again the heroes of these games. And Mountain Drake going down. Not Triple Ocean officially. Caboshard will be sad. But the rest of Vitality will be happy. It will make it easier for them to pressure this Baron. We know it is the center of attention for this team. They have the gold lead. Advantage is in their favor. Tristana only at 2 items, not hitting that 3-item point yet. This is their window of opportunity.
And we're constantly just looking at the Talia pick. 100% kill participation from Jizuke so far in this game. After the slow start, he's found 2 good ultis that resulted in kills and turrets for the team. And H2K are continuing to try and stall. But they don't have a lot of map pressure. And the moment they show up in the side lane, we've seen 5 Vitality members instantly in. Jacktroll can always engage.
He's ready to go. In Officio, we just continue to see Jizuke be an absolute terror, the kind of the center carry for Vitality week after week. But we are seeing much more conscious play around him, snowballing him, then allowing him to go to the bot lane to snowball many True Packs. Has been a good look for the team. Vitality playing to the win conditions we expect. Sion is now going in there, going to look for the engage. Has been locked up for now. Shook going to have to burn the ulti. Wall is now coming in to try to block off the team, but it's Smitty J in the middle of everything. Is he going to give his life? Sheriff locked up. Smitty not going to be able to get anyone down. Cho'Gath gone. Maybe this is the opportunity for Vitality to turn onto that Baron.
Well, let's see. Caboshot is very low, but he can TP back towards the Baron. There's a ton of wards placed by H2K.
No flash for Shook. Also playing on the blue side means it's a lot harder to steal this Baron. We'll have to walk through every member of Vitality to get into that pit.
And Vitality right there, they got the TP, they got the kill. Around mid lane, H2K looking for another one.
Sheriff.
Oh, Capo's coming behind.
Looking for the opportunity. Is he going to find the decimating smash? Does manage to find it. Sheriff now trying to back off, but he doesn't do quite enough damage to these tanks yet. Kilius goes over the wall, finds one stack, two. Sheriff backing off on the third stack. Stun not going to connect. H2K retreating, but Vitality not able to get a greater advantage.
Vitality once again ping around the Baron. If H2K shows bot lane, Baron might get started. But they're not showing just yet. Vitality still hovering around, looking for another pick. They're so hungry to fight.
And SmittyJ no TP. Selfie no opportunity to swap out summoner spells. Has already burned the Ghost. Will now have to back off. The slow, steady game for H2K, the longer they go, of course, they still have a very strong late game composition, but they have to be careful. They can't afford to keep getting picked off because look at the Talia, Deficio.
So much damage.
Death Cap, Void Staff, Archangels. That is a lot of damage. No triple Infernal this time, but still quite potent.
H2K were trying to see if there was a chance of a Baron rush if all of Vitality went back to base, but not the case here. Vitality do get to once again push out, get the Baron control, and of course both teams looking to see if they can qualify for that semi-final, lock their spot as well. Going in towards Copenhagen, where you either get the third place or the final for either one of them. And we also want to announce we do have a special guest joining us for the broadcast. It's going to be Froggen, of course, who will be on the analyst desk. Cold is there as well. But Froggen is coming to join us here in Denmark. And
Anivia is in the meta.
And Anivia is in the meta.
The memes are being made as we speak.
He's going to talk about it. And of course, all the fans will get a chance to meet him. There's still a few tickets available, but we got to get them pretty fast, especially for the final.
See if you have the opportunity now.
Oh.
They want to wait on going to buy those tickets. Keep your eyes on this game as Baron has been started. H2K potentially on the way in.
They're going to rush it down.
Time, 3K, getting lower. Trap has been used. They're looking for the turn and burn. They may just fire it back. Cabo's in the middle of everything, but Selfie is on the backside trying to take out many true packs. The immediate turn back. The team is split, but Jizuke is more than enough. Cho'Gath, Jizuke, the flash forward. SmittyJ with the double. Massive turn for the team. Selfie still playing up the wall, but he has the realm warp if he wants to use it. Are they going to chase for anything more? Sheriff, ready for the resets, ready to keep this ball rolling if he can get it started. That's SmittyJ going to be brought into the middle of everything. Kilius now has to run, but he's in the middle of Sheriff now. Decimating Smash comes in, the knockup. They're going to look to chain the CC. That's one. Can look for the reset, but not going to get greedy. H2K in control.
Man, again, it's Vitality winning the early game, and then around the Baron, H2K find a way back. Vitality could have finished the Baron here, but they just seem to have no confidence actually getting it down in time before SmittyJ and Shook can get into the Baron pit. Baron's being started, still risky by H2K.
The knockup connects on the mini true packs. He will die immediately. Mini has to be safe.
No feast just yet.
Cabo cannot overstay his welcome. 5K getting lower. SmittyJ getting chunked down. Promise Q is here as well. 3K health. They just want to burn through the Baron. Jack Troll as well. Body block comes in. They are going to be able to get it. Cabo goes down too. H2K, this is exactly what they wanted.
I can't believe that it's happening every single game now. Vitality with the lead, the tanks, the engaged, start the Baron, either turn as a team, win the fight, or in this case here, let's see how low the Baron dropped, because the call in itself makes a lot of sense, but all 5 members are around. Jizuke uses the wall to try and block them out. Promise Q with the shield stops the wall from actually completely zoning away the team, and here, I think you can try and rush it down if you're Vitality with the traps lined up. Keep in mind, if Shook steals it, he's in a bad position and might just die because he has to flash into the pit. But they don't finish it, they turn, ends up splitting up. And because the Baron was still active, it ends up killing Jack Troll. And Sheriff is untouched in the fight. Welcome to the late game. 3 items on Tristana. This is where H2K tends to win their games, and we're here again.
Cutting it down, Sheriff so strong to siege. The Demolitionist champion, exactly what H2K want, but here comes the Scion. Vitality looking for the turn, trying to get him out with the Rise ult. Olaf will make it out to safety, but now he's split off from the rest of the team. Sheriff is in trouble. No, he's not outside of the team fight. Sheriff remains untouched. And it's just a 1-for-1, top lane for top lane. Mid laners on each side grabbing the kill.
1-for-1. Shook left SmittyJ is the only frontliner in that fight when he was in the ulti from Selfie. Mountain Drake for Vitality. Sadly, not what you're looking for again if it's all about scaling and winning late game fights. Ocean and Mountain gives you very little value when it comes to team fighting. And Vitality have lost yet another first Baron. Not confident they could finish it in time. I think they should have gone for it, but they didn't. Then lost the following fight. Sheriff is on 3 kills now.
3 items, Deficio. Energizer build plus the Infinity Edge. Working towards the next option here. Very strong Tristana.
Turret still alive. Hits play. Selfie sets up the ult to get out, but realize they can't get out in time. Shook leaves. Sheriff left untouched.
He got like 9 autos off in that fight. Admittedly all onto Cabo, but quite a good team fight for an AD carry.
Okay, looking for another one. Jack Troll.
Wall off. Jack Troll going to try to go over. A bit of a moment of uncoordination. Actually are going to get multiple members across. Just Shook on the backside. Oh! Jizuke stepping forward. A rare misstep from him, but now Olaf is charging in. Sheriff is there. Selfie is there. They're ready to go. Trap's coming in, but Mini Trupax has to be careful. Does get locked up. Flashes out to safety, not gonna get taken down. Gilly's looking for the disengagement. Sheriff is right there, wants to keep the fight going, to knock up the chain CC. He's gonna get burned down. Selfie grabs another one.
It's happening again. Welcome to the late game where H2K can simply outplay Vitality. They have a draft where it's all about just killing the first member right in front of you. Choke at Feast, 2 strong single target carries. And this time it was Jizuke with the ulti who ended up actually jumping in to the rest of H2K. He dies. That's now mid lane going down. That's an inhib dropping. The Baron buff is still active. And suddenly everything that happens in the first 20 minutes, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Vitality have to be able to execute around the first Baron.
Now it's H2K with a 3K gold lead. Selfie out of mana, maybe that can help them in the coming fight, but Smitty J is just so tanky, so disruptive. Jizuke cannot play on the front line, but Cabo going in anyway, now backing off, immediate ulti, decimating smash, gonna connect on 2, but the silence comes in as well. Good disengage for H2K. One more bout to make it out to safety. Deficio, Vitality, they had a bit of a snowball, but it just was not enough.
There's 3,500 gold on Selfie and 2,500 on Sheriff, just sitting ready to be spent. Now they go back to base. They're gonna get 4 items after going back. Jizuke ends up jumping towards H2K after ulting in and not jumping off a little bit earlier.
And just a reminder, jumping into a Cho'Gath is suicide. He has a silence. You are a mage. You jump in, you die. Jizuke playing way too risky, way too eager to make the play to kind of save the team, to bring them back into the game, and can't afford to make mistakes like that.
And it's hard for Yamada Cannon to change a lot because they are consistently winning the early game. The Talia pick is working, Jizuke is performing.
And how do you teach a team in a best of 5 to play around Baron to have the confidence to go for the smite in those scenarios when it's turned against them so many times?
Because again, if they go for the all-in there, Shug at least will die if he goes for the steal. Even though he gets the Baron, he will die and you can still win the fight because you have so much engaged on the side of Vitality. But they didn't commit for it, they lost the fight. Ended up being split up. Jack Troll was on his own, dropped low, and then suddenly Sheriff just hammered away. And now he's almost on 4 items.
And now you're the team that has to play aggressive, that has to go into the Cho'Gath to stop Tristana from killing your entire team. Tank line of Vitality not nearly as scary as it once was. Armor penetration not there for Sheriff yet, so they have at least a brief moment before a lot of those defensive stats are made irrelevant. The additional range from Sheriff keeping him just outside of the trap range. Wall does come in. Selfie's going to be walled off from the fight. Engage, follow-up, looking to take down Smitty before the fight starts. That could be the spot that Vitality need. Exactly what they want, but Sheriff is untouched. Keep an eye on him as he hits into the back line. Selfie not playing scared, keeping his eyes on the front line. Is going to take down Cabo. Sheriff actually going to grab the kill as he's on a rampage.
We have to remember that initial engage from Vitality. If they want to try and reach the carries, they have to do it immediately with the Leona, but it's so hard to do this late in the game, so they end up having to kill the tank. And the moment they kill a tank, Sheriff and Selfie are untouched. Cover shot, we see it here, he dies very, very quickly.
Nice! Jizuke with the clutch play, now going to try to bring it home. Realm Warp, can they take him out? Selfie not going to be stunned, so it means at least Promise Q will be safe there. Is the ace in the hole.
Jack Troll's trying to get close enough.
Wants to get a little bit more. What's he have? No Moby Boots, the Merc Treads. Wants to make sure that Selfie cannot back, but Selfie has the flash, can just go over the Dragon Pit wall.
Yeah, but force him to use that flash. Another win here for Vitality. Stall the game, don't lose your bot lane inhib. Good play from Jizuke onto Sheriff. Flash is still available for next fight, but Baron in 30 seconds. AD carry is going to be alive, probably get there in time with home guards. But Vitality can now play against a no-flash Rise. That could be your target.
But you can see how difficult it is for them to play these fights in full 5-on-5.
This is great though. Engage kill the tank first, realize you have a strong front line of Sejuani, Leona, and of course the Sign. But now, then the turnaround is where they don't have the next engage. They don't have another Leona ulti to use. And they can't get to the carries. This is just a good play from H2K, and Sheriff thinks he can jump out, but bam, interrupted. Baron play is gonna be huge. It is alive. We're back watching Vitality around it. We have the Tristana currently moving towards it. And remember, no flash on Selfie. He could be your target. If you can connect the ulti from Jack Troll onto him, it could be huge, but he's bought a stopwatch to use when he sees that all in from Jack Troll.
Ready to make it happen. H2K looking for the pick. Chain CC comes in, but they're not going to catch Sheriff. It's not quite what they want. Olaf doing what he can in the meantime. Sheriff, though, free hitting onto Cabo Shard. Exactly the exchange they're looking for. Cabo not going to get any damage down with the passive advantage to H2K.
More importantly, I think they were aiming for Selfie and they didn't hit him. Suddenly, you can't actually move forward because this H2K lineup will kill your tank first. As long as Smitty J is in the front line soaking damage and ready with the potential feast, the damage of Selfie and Sheriff burns through Cabo Shard. Like, his life, it's rough. He goes in, that's his job. He takes a bunch of damage, and if his carries have not killed the enemy tank, he's gonna die eventually.
Elder Dragon started up by H2K. No dragons themselves, mean this is a quite easy take.
But Baron is being pinged by Vitality.
They want to go, they have to go now. They're using the wall to block it off. They want to start it up. 4v5. Cabo has the TP available. 4 dragons. Double mount makes it pretty easy. Promise Q not going to steal this one away. That means Vitality will get the Baron.
But can they get out? That's the thing here. 5 members of H2K around. Promise Q on the other side here trying to use his ulti. Not ready actually. It's on cooldown. He's just trying to buy some time.
TP going to be used to keep the team safe. H2K ready for the full 5-on-5. Promise Q not going to get picked off. Unbreakable is there. Knock up. Going to go in on the Selfie, but he does have the Hourglass. That might just be enough. Smitty J in the middle of the team, but he doesn't kill anybody. Sheriff looks to the side. Can't take the hero play. Flashes out. Ready to go at a moment's notice. Mini Trupax will stay alive. Has to burn the heal to keep it safe. Back and forth in this game. Vitality will not go quietly.
Such a close fight here. Selfie almost died. No flash on his side. They actually got onto him, but then the stopwatch came in, and suddenly the entire team is in front of him. Super close game. Vitality with a good call here. Used Talia ult to block H2K from getting to the Baron. Take it, trade it for the Elder Drake. In this case, because there are 0 Drakes on the side of H2K, it's actually a good trade for Vitality. Allows them to look for another big fight. Yes, the fight's been easy to execute for H2K, but that doesn't mean Vitality can't win them. One good knockback from H2K on either Selfie or Sheriff, that's a kill. That's a 1 team fight for Vitality.
And we're now at this point in the game, Deficio, where we have to look at Selfie's itemization. You see the broken stopwatch, not enough time to get a Zhonya's quite yet. That means he's more vulnerable in the fight to come. Similar story for Sheriff. Has the cleanse, but it's not going to matter against the knockback against H2K.
I'm still looking for Jack Troll to just ult straight on Selfie. Until that flash is ready.
And this team is so strong at sieging. The traps, the threat of CC if you try to move in on a Scion, very strong for the team overall. You see Smitty J just fishing for the rupture picks. Mini Trupax takes a lot of damage, but both 80 carries with the Bloodthirst. I mean, it's pretty hard to knock anyone out with a single hit.
And that flash is now ready. So is my puberty. Spellbook obviously helping Selfie a bit with the cooldown on it. So next fight, we might have to Vitality just aim for Smitty J again. But that's again, that kill the tank first kind of setup is what H2K is built for.
And you can see Smitty J is just fearless. Has the Warmogs, more than willing to walk into the face of the enemy and just
went in.
The wall setup. What are they going to find? Not going to get the opportunity. The coordination just a little bit off here on the side of Vitality. 2 major ultimates burned. Window of opportunity for H2K despite the Baron buff.
They did just interrupt the recall of Mini Trupax, but he's fine. Backs away.
Trying to get the free inhibitor. H2K is not there. They have to play safe. Cabo gets cut down here. It will be massive. Gillia's keeping forward. Trupax playing so on the edge here.
Trying to catch the carries. Hard game for Jack Troll.
Keep an eye on Cabo though. Has the engage available. Smitty J with the feast could try to turn this if the carries overstep. And Selfie looks to be going to the side, then they want to split up Vitality.
Such a huge game in this series. They're getting the 2-1 advantage. H2K stalling out after another early game loss. Could really hurt Vitality and their confidence in the style they're trying to play. They twice in a row lose a game after winning the early game, after getting 4 to 5k gold ahead. So that means they might feel like they're forced to change, but so far, they're still able to win late game fights. They're still in this one. They can still shut down H2K just gets harder and harder. Luckily, all the carries are basically maxed out, except for Selfie.
Yeah, 2 carries on both sides. Selfie approaching the maxed out stage. You see Jizuke going for the maximum AP build with the Spellbinder there. And Deficio, I mean, the 80 carries, the mid laners, all that matter in these fights. Can the tanks find the engage? And the 80 carries and mid laners follow up. And it's a bit terrifying because once SmittyJ gets that flash, it's a little bit harder to play around.
So if we work under the assumptions that none of the teams can reach the carries early in a fight, then we have to see if Vitality can chain CC SmittyJ long enough so that he can actually feast against one of their tanks, and they can try and kill him, knock him back with Jizuke, deal a ton of extra burst damage with it, and then the first tank is dead, and Vitality have effectively won the first part of the fight, and then they just gotta make sure they don't over-chase. Because then they've lost all the engage and they can't actually get easily onto Sheriff, but at least they get the kill on the first tank.
And it feels like the single piece of good news for Vitality in these fights, despite Shogath being a potential obstacle, is that Shook is playing the Olaf. It is not the best late game scaling champion. Caitlyn with so many items is not going to be nearly as threatened as she was in the early game.
Double locket on the side of H2K. I would have loved for Promise Q here to have had a Knight's Vow in his case here. Just like pluck that onto Sheriff, further protect him. I think a Mikhail's could be an option later on as well. When you are against the Leona, just if the cleanse is gone, having extra ways of avoiding a potential engage onto your carries, because we have seen the amount of damage Sheriff can deal as long as he doesn't die early. And Trubax is trying to do exactly the same on his side, and while there is a lot of damage with the headshots, doesn't have that insane attack speed steroid to get from the Tristana.
That's the big thing in deciding this. The mobility, the safety that Sheriff provides, and the attack speed steroid. So crucial for the late game scaling hyper carries. 110% on Sheriff if he ever gets to stand still and hit the opposition. Caitlyn, of course, with the empowered crits, but they're so few and far between in these fights. A lot more will depend on if they can just burst a single target out. But the 1,000 damage crits are coming in now for Sheriff. He's just about untouchable. Overheal plus the Bloodthirst are going to make it hard to burst him down.
Remember also with Gilius on Sejuani, there is a late game advantage for Vitality in terms of the junglers. But it can be tough to actually land the key ulti when everyone is grouped together. You tend to just hit the tank in the face and not one of the carries. Banner on top side, pushing out 2 of them on the side of Vitality at the moment. 2 of them on the side of H2K to try and match it.
And a minute till Baron, minute 45 till the Elder Dragon. Second one for H2K if they get it. It's a massive buff, despite not even having any dragons.
And Trubax trying his best here to beat a big carry. Ton of damage on his side with the Caitlyn. Obviously, when 280 carries are hitting tanks 24/7, they tend to get very high damage numbers. Double Banner on one side.
So Banner v Banner, however, Vitality having to respond on the bottom side of the map does mean the H2K should have a clear path to get some Baron vision of their own to set that one up. They don't have any Mountain Drakes, but they still have 2 members who can cut through it quite quickly.
Now this potential double banner setup, if you do that when Baron is actually alive and the enemy tank then shows up bot lane and you start the Baron, he's forced to TP in and these 2 minions will continue just pushing. So you can actually time it like that. Now Kamshot had enough time to go bot lane and kill at least one of them before Baron spawn, but HK can still try and force his TP. Here we go.
Trying to back off. Vitality posturing around the pit, ready to threaten. SmittyJ now taking a whole ton of damage here, ready for the fight. Eyes on the engage options for both sides. Gilius going to connect to chain the CC onto Promise Q. He's going to be a tough target to hit, but SmittyJ down to half health. Not going to heal up as he has stayed in the pit. Jizuke similarly low. Trubax untouched for now. If that rupture hits, it could be massive for the team. They're not going to find the follow-up. Desmane's match next. Immediately she tries to leap in, but Gilius is still alive. SmittyJ has been taken down. Jizuke untouched, as is Trubax. They're going to have to back off. Realm Warp taking them out, but the wall now coming in to block off Selfie. Can they find the follow-up here? Now turning to the Baron. Shook is alive. Can he steal this one for his team? 7K and getting lower. Trubax ready to turn at a moment's notice. Predator has been used. Vitality now ready to back off as Sheriff does so much damage.
They don't want to take the chance again. Wait, he's going for it.
Baron wants to run it down. Can he get it? Gilius, this is your chance for redemption. Who's going to get it in the end? Who's going to get the spike? Gilius brings it home. Vitality holding on. The wave in the bot lane going to bring it home. At least a little bit for the side of H2K, but the smite coming in clutch for Gilius right when it mattered most.
Oh man, just Shook felt so confident he could win that one, but he didn't have to do that. He went all in. They could have stepped away with the 4 members and just let the wave bot lane do some work. That's going to be a 4 Drake, Elder Drake now. Vitality won the initial fight, but then HK had the chance to just stop because Vitality did not want to commit to the Baron. They didn't want to risk it. And then Shook charges in alone, thinking he can actually finish it, and suddenly Gilius gets redemption. He gets the Baron. They get the Elder Drake. That was just a huge chance now gifted over to Vitality. Can they actually now go down and destroy the base of H2K, win one late game fight to win this game?
They have Elder. They have Baron. They've got the banners, and all of the minion dematerializers are gone. This is their time.
It could just have been a full reset around Baron, but then Shook thought he could be the hero.
They're trying to group. H2K is trying to find the flank. Achilles now backing out.
But Jisuke, he's on his way from mid, and there's an Elder Drake on Vitality.
He's looking for the CC. Selfie now could be in trouble. They may be able to find the follow-up combo immediately to the backside. Sheriff now trying to leap into the fight. Has to use the rocket jump to get in, though. Needs to play this one safe. Jizuke is moving in as well. Smitty J caught out. Gargoyle Stoneplay keeps him alive for now, but he is going to get taken down. Advantage to Vitality.
They're fighting against the massive buff on Vitality's side. They thought they could do it before Jisuke showed up, but he was running. He was there in time. H2K are getting so greedy in this game, despite them being able to win multiple late game fights. Vitality are looking for more.
H2K now hoping and praying that they cannot end it here. The Baron empowered cannon minion will start to chunk away at this tower. Sheriff is going to have to step forward to kill this one, but I don't know if he has the luxury. Unraveled Earth comes in. Sheriff has to leap out to safety. CC not going to connect on the Selfie. The follow-up will, however, they're going to try to cut him down. Jack Troll flashing out immediately. The chain CC comes in. Selfie is down! This could just be the win for Vitality. They're ready to push it in. Sheriff, it is now or never. Is he going to find the clutch play to bring it home? He's off to the side. The Desmanic Smash. They're ready to lock him down. They force him out. Sheriff, goodbye. Mini Drew Packs coming in. Vitality bringing it back.
I can't believe Vitality won this game.